Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Hockey. Thanks for tuning in with us again today because, after all, Phil, we did like just a couple short shows yesterday, right?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Short.
Only 4.5 hours of Rangers talk and NHL talk yesterday, but we're happy to be back. The Triforce all together again. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams, who is suddenly very popular as everybody's texting me right at this moment. I'll get the Do Not Disturb on there. Joined with the host of the Final Buzzer, Mr. John Filkowski.
Yeah. Probably about almost 5 hours worth of streaming yesterday. Back again for another round. And then I think we're going to try to get an Islanders preview in there. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Anthony LaRocco?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely talk about them and what they have cooking coming into next season. But as I like to do lately, just throw out some anecdotes from football from last week. It's becoming a trend of mine. But just a couple questions for you guys. One, is J.J. McCarthy really that bad? He looked terrible. Two, what was Russell Wilson thrown to in the overtime on that pick? And three, are the Miami Dolphins the worst team in the league? So those are the three questions I have for you. But yeah, hockey's almost back, so that's very good too.
Yeah, thank God hockey's back for me because I
Freddie
am
Sjustrom days away.
Yeah, and I like the Freddie Sjustrom shout out, Phil, because
Shootout King Freddie Sjustrom. Put some respect on the man's name.
what was the fourth line when it was him, Betts, and was it Holwig that was with him, or was it Colt Noor that was with him?
I think Orr might have been gone by then. But yeah, yeah. As a Giants fan, I echo that sentiment.
And the funny part is, I'm actually sort of like all up for being a Giants fan if I can, because that was the team of my brothers. I veered away and became a Dolphins fan because of a guy wearing number 13 in the in the 80s and into the 90s. But, and then there was another guy that wore 54 as a linebacker for them too that I really liked. But I 56
guy was pretty good too. I heard.
What?
That 56 guy was pretty good too. I heard.
Oh no, the 56 guy on the Giants was, he was all right.
He was all right.
He was all right. But this is also where I kind of say sometimes you just want to be a fan free agent. I would love to make this website where you could actually declare yourself a free agent and teams have to recruit you. They could send you some free stuff or anything. So that would be great.
There's always room for you. There's always room for you over at Bill's Mafia, Mark.
I knew that was coming. Oh, I knew that was coming.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you what. Wherever I move, as far as football goes, I'll be a free agent.
Yeah, but before we get into anything, though, I definitely want to say thanks again for everybody who stayed on with us the entire time yesterday, or anyone who joined in general to watch us, and to the other content creators who helped make that possible yesterday. I'm talking about Matt Nevin from Ranger Central and Statboy Steven. Special thanks to Johnny Lazarus for jumping in the chat. We always see him in here from time to time. Friend of the show. Nothing but love for you, Johnny. Thank you for jumping in the chats there and spicing things up a little bit with us. But yeah, that was definitely a great show yesterday, and hopefully we'll be doing more of those throughout the season.
I don't think Phil wants to see any more Eagles fans.
No. We're not doing that.
As a person that actually played against the Philadelphia area teams, I don't recommend that one. But everybody, for starters, if you haven't done it already, make sure you like and subscribe. We are growing and we're continuing to grow. Can't say enough of your support. It's always the best. But let's get to our A block, where we're going to talk about, recruiting people. Maybe there's a chance at something. But always, the A block is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. Big Apple Hockey trucker hats and shirts are available. So click the link down below. But there was big news last week and one more thing, everybody. make sure you check out Phil's list of the top number 1 overall draft picks. And coming this week, Phil's New York Rangers what ifs. We're going to get more of them around the league as we go on. But big news that happened last week when Kirill Kaprizov turned down an 8-year, $128 million deal that was reported. And Bill Guerin came out with an interesting statement the next day and said, yeah, I don't know who leaked it. It wasn't us, and it wasn't his agent. So who said it? The one thing he never said was it wasn't true. So that was a little bit perplexing. Now, while everybody keeps looking at the New York Rangers as a possibility, there's another New York team that's got $13.7 million coming off the books next season. As of right now, the cap is expanding, and who knows, they could always make moves to free up some room because, after all, the GM did a pretty good job this summer, I would say. Anthony, I know if it happens, you'd be on cloud 9.
Of course.
Make the case for Kirill Kaprizov coming to the Islanders next offseason.
Well, first, just like any team, it's still a little early. He still could end up in Minnesota. I don't think it's going to happen, but just throwing that out there. But if you were to say like McDavid Islanders, I'd say absolutely not. That's never going to happen, and that's no slight against the Islanders. You could probably say that for 25 other teams if McDavid hits the market. But with Kaprizov, it's a little different, and it's because of the fact that I'll start with one of the more, I think it's pretty well known. He's obviously a Russian player. I think he wants to be in a bigger, more diverse area, big city. There's a heavy Russian population in New York, so you could start there. But then, secondly, other than that, the Islanders have 2 of his teammates from CSKA Moscow on the team that he won the Gagarin Cup with in Romanov and Sorokin. So clearly he's very familiar with them, and that just as much as he's close to Panarin, he has a relationship with those guys. And then you have some other Russians on the team, and Siplikov, Shabanov, and you have Varlamov too. So, and I hate to stereotype this because it's not the same for every Russian player, but a lot of Russian players like when there's other Russian players on the team. They have that camaraderie. So the Islanders have a lot of it. So when you factor in, it's New York, it's close to the city, has a lot of Russians on the team. I think, they're a team that he very well may consider if he actually reaches free agency, or, maybe even if the Wild decide that they're going to trade him, maybe they're a team that he would say, yeah, I would go to them. So, it's certainly possible, but again, it's way too early to kind of to say for sure what the chances of that are, because, if he does become available, you are going to compete with the Rangers. You are going to compete with, the Blackhawks. You hear the LA Kings mentioned. The Hurricanes talk, honestly, I don't buy it. He's going to leave Minnesota to go play in Raleigh, North Carolina, a team that, Rantanen didn't want to play in. Mitch Marner didn't really want to play in. So, and it's no knock on their franchise. I think it's more of the area that it's in. Not to say that's not a nice place. Hell, there are a lot of people from Long Island that moved down to the Carolinas, but I just don't see Kirill Kaprizov saying, yeah, I'm going to play for the Hurricanes and commit there long term. Possible, sure. Could I be wrong? Sure, but I don't see that. So for Kaprizov, whether it's trade or free agency, I really see him looking at some of these bigger markets. And again, there's some familiarity there with the Russian players, and he'd be in New York and, obviously state-of-the-art facilities. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, just like anybody, like for you guys, the Rangers, you'd be ecstatic if you went there. So yeah, of course, if Kaprizov came to the Islanders, I would, I'd be absolutely thrilled. So we'll see how it transpires. It's certainly something to keep an eye on. Do the Wild get it done with him? Do they maybe go to a shorter term that he's more open to? So we'll see. The one thing I think it was Phil, you tweeted on it. It was from TSA Trade Center. I think LeBron said something like, "Oh, the only reason why this happened is because they didn't offer on a no movement clause. If they offer it to him, it'll be done." which makes no sense to me. You're telling
Yeah,
me
I'm not buying that.
no movement. I mean, every player, not even an elite player, a lot of players, when they sign a deal, they get a no movement clause in it. So
You're telling me that Bill Guerin went out there in initial talks and didn't even include no trade protection whatsoever?
Let me go a little bit.
Sorry, I'm not.
Let me go a little bit further in that, because I always say this too. That contract would have 2 no trade protections and more balloons, because I did the 2 thing. So, all right, my bad. So because you have the no trade protection, duh, but also you tell me a $16 million AAV, that's not no trade to protection to begin with. How the hell are you going to trade a guy with that big of an AAV? But go ahead, finish your point, Anthony.
So no, my point is, I mean, I think there are certainly factors that he could like about the Islanders. But again, there are things that he could like about other teams. I mean, the Rangers have Russians too, which is Sturkin and Panarin. So, and again, I hate to keep using that's not the only thing he's, thinking about. The team has to have Russians on it. I'm just saying, I think when you look at New York, it's diversity. And then you add to the fact that they have, both of those New York teams have players that, he's familiar with. I think it does help the case a little bit. So, if it gets down to the point where it looks like he's available, I'm sure Romanov and Sorokin will be like, let's reunite the band here and make a pitch. But again, a lot of players will do that. So we'll see how it pans out. But obviously, Kaprizov on the Islanders would be absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, because would you say? Now, let's just put your fan hat on for a minute, Anthony.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kaprizov's your favorite non-Islander, right?
Well, I mean, no, Ovechkin is. I mean, that.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who knows Anthony knows.
You know what? That's so right. That's so right. The tinted visor.
The not only the tinted visor, but the chain with the 8 on it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you know what? And Anthony, you're not the only person that I know. Friends of mine that they're big Islander fans, and they were Ovechkin was their favorite player. Shout out to my buddy Matt. And I think that was because for years, the Islanders didn't have that guy you were able to invest and gravitate to, like an Ovechkin or a Kaprizov. And now, I mean, then they had John Tavares, and now they have other guys too. But and for a while, the Rangers had that too, but that's a different story. Phil, we always make the case about Kaprizov to the Rangers, and obviously he was photographed with Shesterkin and Fox at a game last week. But Kaprizov to the Islanders, can you make the case for this?
I think you can absolutely make a case for it. Anthony talked about having Russian connections, being in an area that's more affluent to Russians. I mean, it's not a heavy contingent on Long Island, even though there is. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like it is in Brooklyn and Manhattan, where you see a little more diversity there. But you ask me, Long Island's a much nicer place to live. You don't have to deal with the congestion of being in the city. Your arena that you're playing in is basically in the outskirts of Queens, which is not the greatest area per se, but you don't have to live there. You can live 20 minutes from there and be somewhere like in Merrick, which is beautiful on the water.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in like Long Beach, Lido, East Atlantic Beach, something like that, and have a super nice house there and still be within a half hour from the arena. There are other places on the island to live that you can be in that have just great areas. Sure, the property taxes are a little high, which sucks, but I mean, there are places definitely that you can live around here. I mean, sure, you can live in Tarrytown, but that's quite a trek to go from Tarrytown to Elmont. And I can say that from experience because my father used to live in Tarrytown for a while. So I've done that trek before. I know how long that is.
By the way, Phil, Tarrytown, nice side mission from Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, well, spelled differently, yes, but yes, very, very nice side mission, and you end up having a house there eventually. Tears of the Kingdom spoiler, sorry. But yeah, it's a great place to live. The team itself, and I was just talking about this, I think, with THG in the chat. THG mentioned that Elite Prospects has the Islanders as the number 2 prospect pool in all of hockey right now. And he was surprised by that, which I'm kind of surprised that someone was surprised by that, because if you look at the laundry list of prospects they have, you started out with guys like Danny Nelson and Cole Eiersman, and it's nice, two nice prospects to have. But then you add Cal Ritchie to that in the Brock Nelson trade. And then you go and add 3 first-rounders and a first overall pick in Matthew Schaefer, who's supposed to be a franchise cornerstone defenseman. You add Kayshawn Aitchison and Victor Eklund. Like, you've added 3 potential guys that have the ability to be at least a top 4 defenseman, I would say, a top 9 forward, if not a top 6 forward, and then a future number 1 defenseman. So add that to living in a nice place, playing in a nice brand new arena that's only a few years old now. And I mean, it's 4 years old now, this arena?
Yeah, I think about 2021.
2021 it opened up.
Yeah.
So 4 years old. I've been there several times for several different events, including hockey, wrestling, and stuff like that. So it's a great arena to play in. It's easy to get in and out of, unlike Nassau Coliseum, which was kind of a pain in the ass. But I mean, you've got a lot of things, a lot of positives to look at if you're the Islanders. The question is, does he want to be there? Is he more friendly with Panarin and Shesterkin than Sorokin and Romanov? I mean, I know that some of those guys were, CSKA teammates. So, I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know who he values more. That's insane. That's elementary school level shit. So, but you can definitely make a case for the Islanders. You can make a case for the Rangers. You know what? You go there. I'm going to answer this question right now. So if you go there, it's not necessarily going to be a rebuild. Maybe it's a retool, something akin to what the Rangers did. Maybe he's their Panarin piece, like to the equivalent of what the Rangers did when they got Panarin. Maybe he's their piece. So, and I saw somebody talk about his injury history before. Okay, yeah, missing half the season this year, not great. You don't want to see that.
No.
But the only other time he's missed any significant amount of time was 22-23, and he missed 15 games.
Yeah.
So, like, to say that he's injury prone is kind of disingenuous. I mean, I get the concern, but I think we're overblowing it here a little bit. So, again, I will say that there is a case here. I mean, I don't know where this guy wants to go. I don't even know if he wants to stay in Minnesota. I'm getting the feeling he doesn't.
Me too.
It just feels like if you turn down something like that, like, to me, it's not about the money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's about commitment to winning or being somewhere else. So let's see what happens. But yeah, there is a case for the Islanders.
Just for full disclosure, which I don't have to even disclose this at all, but that was a point on his injury history that I brought up in our private group chats, and Anthony kind of set me straight on it, and so did you.
It's not as extensive as people. The problem is, guys only played 5 seasons in the NHL.
Yeah, I think I watched the game.
Injured in 2 of them, people are going to be like, "Oh, he's injury prone."
Yeah, I think I watched the game a couple years ago. I think when he sprained his ankle and it was bad, and he came back from that and for the playoffs. But here's a factor. Let me just throw this out there, because everybody wants to keep talking about if Panarin's on there. I still don't think. I don't think you could have Kaprizov and Panarin on the same team. I just don't think it's going to happen. I find it difficult with Shesterkin making $11.5 million. I know the cap went up. Blah 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 blah. Anyway. Let's go to the Islanders for a minute. And there's been kind of that urge to see them really put a stamp in the free agents market and really go out and get a guy. Bo Horvat was sort of that, where they traded for him and then immediately signed an 8-year deal, and really has been a pretty good Islander. But I think if the Islanders and Malkin and Ledecky, if they wanted to go out and go do this, that would be putting a stamp saying we are an A-tier franchise, and why not? They play in a great arena that everybody's going to see when they do whatever NHL showcase it is. It was supposed to be the All-Star game, but that's not going to be the case now. But this this franchise kind of does want to step out of the shadow of being associated or being the other team in New York. And I think getting Kaprizov would do that. And the fact that they would have the space, it would be like the Panarin, as you said before, Filk. And I mean, Anthony, you look at the New York Islanders right now. You're looking at them and going, they're going to be a good team in at least 2-3 years, like a really good team. And like you're going over the prospect pool, Filk, and I'm sitting there going, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what that defense is going to look like with Romanov and Kayshawn Atchison on there because Aitchison, because it like Anaheim advertised Trouba and Gudis on the same unit. Imagine those two young guys absolutely leveling people when they step over the blue line.
I don't think they would play together personally, but they're also both left side defensemen too.
Romanov and Aitchison.
Yeah. Well, no, not at the same time, but on the same defense. I was saying.
Oh,
yeah. I'm with you on that. I mean, you're not going to have obviously. I mean, I can't say obviously because the Rangers are possibly looking at playing Schneider on his freaking left-hand side as a right shot defenseman.
Yeah,
weird. But I mean, I don't see that. The only thing that I see that's a flaw in the Islanders' farm system is the lack of center depth. I mean, that's the one position they really lack it. I mean, if you want to say goalie, I mean, sure, but they really don't need one anytime soon. So I'm not really worried about that. But it's a center, really.
And by the way, the Islanders might not need a backup if you watched Instagram today of Semyon Varlamov skating around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's looking like he might be healthy. So that's another one.
The only problem with the Islanders, if you really might hold them back, is a salary cap. I mean, they have about $2.5 million of space right now, plus another 13 and change coming off in the contracts that you named before. Is that going to be enough to get Kaprizov? Or are they going to have to move somebody else to make that work?
But I think on top of that, the cap is going up again from what, like 95 to 10 something.
Yeah, that's
104.
We'll probably have that, but then that might end up being their only move then if that ends up being the case. Because I don't know if they're going to have any room to make any other moves unless they move salaries.
And also, just to address something Anthony said before, I don't buy the Carolina talk. Everybody's like, "Oh, Carolina." Tom Dundon's not spending money on the Hurricanes. He's got a budget. He wants to keep it within the budget. I think all the Hurricanes GMs and everything have kind of adhered to that. They have a system. It's low cost. I don't even know off the top of my head who's making the most money on that team. Maybe it's Nikolai Ehlers next season. But let's just pump the brakes on Carolina because after all, Mikko Rantanen went there and went, no.
Yeah, I think part of it with Rantanen, though, was the fact that, I mean, one, I don't think he wanted to be there in general. Two, he didn't fit in with that style of play. And I don't think Kaprizov would either. I don't see him as a fit there. I mean, I get you would change around things for a guy like that. But if you got to change around things for a guy like that, does that really mean he's a good fit?
One more question, I would say, before we get to this question, because we are going to get to this one. I'm going to turn this back over to you guys in a second. Do you think we all kind of look at Svechnikov and go, when's this guy going to pop? When's he going to pop? And now I'm at the point where I'm like, just call me when he does. I don't believe it's going to happen. Do you think the style of play hinders Svechnikov out there?
Not necessarily. I don't think he's like a big time 80 to 90 point guy. I think he's like a 30 goal, maybe 60 to 70 point power forward. Plays with kind of an edge and loves to throw his elbows around, kind of like Messier. But I do think that he's a good player. It's just not somebody that's near the top of the game for me. I thought that was going to happen a while ago. I think it's kind of he is what he is kind of now at this point. I think he's 26.
I'd have to look. Yeah.
I think that we're looking at like he kind of is just what he is for me at this point. He's 25. Wow. He's only 25. So I mean, sure, he's in his peak years, but I just haven't seen the growth and the development kind of really since that 21-22 season where I thought, I mean, even the 2020 season, his second year, I thought, wow, he looked like he was on his way to something, but he's kind of plateaued since. And
yeah, Anthony, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I also wonder how much that knee injury he suffered has affected him too. He hurt his knee. What was it in the playoffs one year, and he tore up his knee, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much I can linger, but I mean, listen, he does have a 69-point season under his belt, but if you look, I mean, since then it's gone down in production. Even though, I mean, 55 points in 64 games, he probably over a full season he maybe matches that. But last year, that's the concern: 48 points in 72 games. So the Hurricanes are going to need him to get back to that level. I think if they want to get over the hump. But as far as Kaprizov goes, I mean, I can't see him choosing the Hurricanes over some of these other teams. But I suppose again we'll wait and see what happens when Kaprizov makes some sort of decision, whether that's sometime soon or he takes it all the way to next July.
Now, getting to this question from NWR for Life, this might be a stupid question, but do you think teams are holding off on Kaprizov until they hear what McDavid's plans on what he plans on doing?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's teams holding off. I think maybe one of the reasons why Kaprizov declined it is because I think maybe he's waiting to see what McDavid does. Because I mean, just look at it like this. Granted, I think McDavid's going to get more than this, but it's just the point of it. I mean, let's say McDavid signs and gets 16 million, then Kaprizov is going to know, okay, well, if McDavid got 16, me getting 16 maybe isn't so realistic, and maybe he has to take a little less. So I just think when you have a player out here, McDavid, a generational player, you're the next biggest free agent after him. That's at least somewhat in his stratosphere. Like I feel like him waiting to see what McDavid does is smart. Like it sets the market. So I think based on what McDavid gets could determine, what Kaprizov can get. So I think, aside from maybe him declining because he doesn't want to be there, he also maybe declined because, again, he's going to try to see what McDavid does. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible that's what's going on. Other teams, though, I don't really know how much that affects it, but I certainly do think as far as Kaprizov wanting to see what McDavid gets could be valid.
Yeah. Phil, what are your thoughts are here? Yeah, this is not a stupid question at all. It's actually a very pertinent question, if anything. I do wonder how much these guys are feeding off of each other in terms of seeing which one wants, which one is going to get what. I do agree with Chris T here that McDavid is the standard. I've said that. I don't even know how many times I've said that he's the guy that's going to set the market for like the next 5+ years, possibly with whatever AAV he ends up getting. But I do think that Kaprizov is somebody that could get very close to what McDavid's going to get. And that's why he's probably looking at McDavid, even though I think McDavid's one of those things that it can end up coming down to the very last minute and he ends up re-signing in Edmonton for all we know. So it's a tough place to be in. It's like between a rock and a hard place, honestly. And I don't know if it's the teams as much as it is the camps. And, you got to think of it. Like, the more money these players get, the more the agents' fees are going to be. So it's more money in the agents' pockets as well. So they're probably looking to take as much time as they possibly can because they don't want to overplay their hands either. I got to say, and I know I make this comparison all the time, guys. I was trying to think about if it being like a poker game, by the way, as another metaphor of McDavid's holding pocket aces and Kaprizov right now is holding pocket queens. I'm not sure if he's pocket kings, though, but that's a different story. But I always bring up the 2000 MLB free agent class, which probably will go down as the most lucrative free agent class relative to contracts of all time. And there was all the guys that signed. I could go through the list again, but I'm not going to. But yeah,
Piazza, Mo Vaughn, Manny, Randy Johnson, Kevin Brown, and I'm probably missing some guys. But the guy that was at the end was A-Rod. You knew A-Rod's going to get the money. In this situation, Connor McDavid is A-Rod. He's got youth. You could sign him to the longest term deal and obscene money and still get your money's worth. And the entire contract, which is what I often caution about trying to sign guys to big contracts, because as I said last year, are you going to pay Igor Shesterkin $11.5 million when he's I love that one. When he's
I'm glad somebody got
when
it.
he's 38 years old. I don't think that's going to be the same case. That being said, McDavid's the one that's going to have the blank check. Kaprizov, he's probably going to be the one that blinks first. I'd be shocked if he's the one that comes second. And I don't think it's a bad thing because Kaprizov could figure out where. I think Kaprizov has a little bit more freedom than McDavid because McDavid's got the weight of all of Canada on him because they're like, oh, you're supposed to bring a couple home to Canada or it's supposed to be this because everybody's forgetting that one. Nobody's even talking about Kaprizov in that aspect. Nobody even cares. So I think Kaprizov's just got to figure out where he wants to win. And if you look at that Islanders roster and the guys that are already on it and the guys that are coming, I can make a better case for him going there instead of to any other team, never mind the Rangers who were right in their backyard. But let's transition, guys. Let's go to a guy that is there and a Russian player that is impressing right now. Anthony, Maxim Shabanov, he's stealing the spotlight of rookie camp. And I'm not just reading off the sign. That was just, I saw the line rushes he was having. He looks like he could fly.
Yeah, look, the Islander beat writers, both Stefan Rosner and Andrew Gross, were gushing over him this past week at rookie camp that ended, I believe, yesterday or the day before. I mean, look, yes, he is 24 years old, and he's playing against a lot of, 18, 19, 20-year-olds at camp. But I think the point that, the writers were making was that you could see the amount of skill that he has out there. I mean, they were talking about his release, his passing ability, the shiftiness, his agility, his speed. So, I think, a lot of Islander fans are getting excited about the prospect of what he could be. So I'm really intrigued to see when the actual big boy training camp starts tomorrow, how he looks, in front of pros. But everyone's talking highly of him. Wah has Rosner did interview with Palmieri, and Palmieri was talking about how his hands and how quick they are and the stuff he does. So and then it's evident by Wah saying that he's going to start on the top line with Horvat and Drouin, that they're going to give him every opportunity to succeed at the NHL level. So I think, and we've talked about this before, I think it's obvious that he's certainly got the tools in his bag. It's just adjusting to the game. And yes, he's on the smaller side. On the Islanders training camp roster today, he was listed at 5'9". And, in every sport, how it goes, usually what they're listed at a little over exaggerated. So,
yeah.
But the point is, yes, he is on the smaller side. So, we'll see. Normally I don't really care about preseason, but I'm looking forward to seeing not only him, but how a guy like Callum Ritchie plays during preseason games. So yeah, I think it's, for an Islander fan, it's hard not to be excited by him. We've seen a lot of Russians come over, Gusev, Shipachyov turned out to be nothing. Then you've had Russians that come over like Kaprizov, Panarin, and they turned into elite guys. So where will he fall on that kind of scale? So we'll see. And like I said, it kicks off tomorrow with the main training camp. So I'm curious to see how he looks. But, right now, yeah, it looks like he's going to be given every opportunity to succeed at this level. And, I'm sure he's getting tips and stuff from Siplikov, who came over the year before him, and asked him about the game here in the NHL and kind of acclimating. He doesn't speak English, so, that's another challenge for Russians coming over, getting acclimated. But yeah, I think for right now, he could be a guy that, if he can come into the Islanders lineup and play in a top 6 role and produce points, I mean, that's going to help him big time in trying to get back into the playoffs this season.
Anthony, by the way, you bring up a good point, and also there's another guy that you can mention, sort of in the middle on that, Kuzmenko, who had that great first season. Yet to duplicate it, but he looked good with the Kings at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Milk, keep going from there. Shabanov stealing the spotlight at rookie camp. By the way, also a great highlight of Matthew Schaefer breezing by and ringing one off the crossbar that I posted on the Big Apple Hockey.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, he looks impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's rookie camp, but as we've said with like Brennan Hoffman and so on, that like after a while, at a certain point, you expect these guys to be able to come and do that in rookie camp, and that's you want to set the bar like there at the least. Like you want them to be doing that. Like I expected Shabanov to do this in rookie camp. I mean, obviously the question is going to be how is he going to look in preseason, and then how is he going to look against NHL competition, like true NHL competition when the time comes. I do think that he has a leg up on a lot of the other guys in the rookie camp. State of Survival asked if he could win the Calder. I mean, I think he could be a dark horse. I mean, everybody's looking at Demidov. Yeah. Rightfully so. Demidov came up and he looked the part. He looked the part right away.
He also looked like controller disconnect on defense.
Oh, that's kind of to be expected. Yeah. I assume that Shabanov's probably going to have some of those moments too. I mean, it's just, I hate to say it, but it's a stereotypical Russian thing. And yeah, it's a stereotype is there for a reason. Yeah. But
also Phil, but was that going to lead to benchings for Demidov, but maybe not for Shabanov?
I think that might lead to benchings for both. I don't think any of these coaches are going to take that. And Marty St. Louis, of all people, I mean, I think maybe he might have a affinity to be a little more lenient with that type of play, just because he didn't get his chance for a while because he was undersized and more of an offensive player. So maybe he'll relate. But Marty St. Louis, from everything I've been told, and from people that I know personally that have actually played for him at the lower levels, he's a no-nonsense guy. Mm. He is zero nonsense. So I'll tell you right now, I think that if Demidov does that, Marty St. Louis and him are going to have a nice long chat. As for Shabanov and Patrick Waugh, I think when you have a guy like Patrick Waugh, that's the type of guy that walks in the room and commands respect. Like when you're that great of a player, people kind of stop and like, oh shit, it's Patrick Waugh. But I will say this: I like what he did with Anthony Duclair, and kind of apologized for him after not knowing what was going on. Shame on the Islanders medical staff and Duclair for letting that go. I don't know how this happens across sports. And it's not just the Islanders, it happens across sports. But why are we not disclosing major injuries like that? Why?
I could give you pros and cons.
Yeah, again, another I'm just being rhetorical here, another conversation for another time. But to get back to Shabanov, I think that I don't think that he's going to just get a free pass just because he's a free agent. I think Waugh will set him aside and be like, listen, you want to play, you're going to play. You're not going to loaf around. So, but he's got skill. I mean, he's an even better skater than I thought. He looks phenomenal. So I do think that this is a type of player that the Islanders have lacked in their top six for a while. He's a great playmaker. I like his smarts better than I like Matt Barzal's. To be honest with you, I think he's a smarter playmaker. But one guy has been in the NHL forever and knows how it works. The other guy is coming from a wider open game where half of his games or so are played on bigger rinks. And he's going to have less time now than he had over there to make those plays and gain open space. And it's going to be tougher to attack the middle of the ice, like as opposed to where it was over there. So for me, I do think he's got a leg up on some of the other players in the Calder race. But I do think that there's going to be a learning curve here, and you got to be patient with a player like that. But unlike the New York Rangers, I think the New York Islanders will put him in a position to succeed optimally and be able to go and make the mistakes that he'll probably make, but also play with that offensive freedom that makes him the player that he is.
I got to say, one of the other things that's going to really help him is that Maxim Shabanov just went through all this. He went through everything he's going to be going through. So now he could just turn around and go, hey, buddy, this is what you're going to be dealing with, and that's really going to help. We talked about the camaraderie. We talked about everything else. It's just, and now you look at them. If this guy hits, then we're not talking about the Islanders retooling anymore. Now we're talking about the Islanders succeeding and ascending. Which is, again, proves to you that the Metropolitan Division, such a crapshoot. You have no idea who's going to be where. And, things are going to start going possibly more right. We were talking about Semyon Varlamov being healthy. Now, maybe they can give Sorokin more off nights.
You're absolutely right about that real quick. When you talk about the Metro standings and everything, I did tune in for a little bit. You guys, I think Evan was going over where he predicts the standings. Yeah, they had the Rangers 5th. The only team in the Metro that I could sit here right now and unequivocally tell you that I think 100% confident, the Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes will be better than all these other teams. But, I mean, the Devils probably likely end up better than the Rangers and Islanders. Yeah, but
Anthony, just to say this, the Devils have a lot more question marks what people let on.
I have questions in New Jersey. I have questions on Washington. I have questions on Columbus. I just the Hurricanes, I think, guaranteed number one. Some of all these other teams, the Metro isn't that strong. I think, honestly, it may shake out in a way that surprises some people, but this is why they play the game. So we'll find out soon enough.
Exactly on that, Anthony. And also, I'll throw this one out there as a monkey wrench for Carolina. What happens if their goaltending starts to fail? I mean, Freddie Anderson's not exactly a spring chicken anymore. And Kochekov hasn't exactly popped at the NHL level. So if Keandre Miller doesn't mesh right away, I'm going to start worrying about stuff like that in Carolina. I mean, then the questions are going to start coming up. And then you wonder whether or not the system is strong enough to just have these players that aren't succeeding. So there could be something everywhere. Columbus will surprise. Let's just say Columbus had a lot more motivation going their way. Can that carry over this season? Or is that just player development? Because if it's just player development, then Columbus is going to surprise everybody. But we're going to see more about Columbus soon. And we're going to talk more about everybody around the league in our NHL Bar Talk that's coming up right now. And by the way, guys, I got to tell you, 43 minutes on our A block where I didn't think we were going to have that today. Good job from these two guys that I'm with. Let's get to Bar Talk.
Good job from all three of us.
Shot. This is the easiest I've ever had to answer.
I say beer. I can't even begin to describe.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. And welcome back welcome back, everybody, to Big Apple Hockey's NHL Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice to drink. So confident that you're buying around. So I'll have a beer. Oh, God, I need a shot. And if I did need a shot right now, I have several shot glasses from Alaska and Victoria that I got on my trip. I'm staring at them right now. Shout out to my lovely wife who wanted to get a shot glass from everywhere, even though she's not exactly a shot person. But there's lots of that could go around. And play along down in the comments below, everybody. And if you haven't watched it, watch our massive New York Rangers season preview with Ranger Central and Statboy Steven, Matt and Evan. Great job again. And we covered basically everything that could even be discussed with the New York Rangers. But we didn't talk so much about some of the PTOs. But, Filk, the Rangers go into camp with Connor Sheary on a professional tryout contract. The Rangers should have signed different PTOs over Connor Sheary.
Who is available?
I can think of two names. I'll start. I'll start it then.
Yeah,
I'm going to buy
good.
around.
Okay.
Two guys that come to mind for me. Matt Grzelcyk, because they needed him to, and Anthony made this case all the way back in July. But also Kevin LeBanc. Why? How did they not sign Kevin LeBanc to a PTO? The guys from the area. They need a center on the third line. I know he wasn't that good with Columbus last year, but how do you not go with that? So that's my thought. So go ahead.
Kevin LeBanc's not a center. He's a right winger, Mark.
I know, but he was also listed at center for years with San Jose. So I mean, let me channel my inner Evan. Do you think who's the guy he hates? I forgot his name all of a sudden. See, that's the worst part. Forgot his name. Guy the Rangers got in the Ryan Lindgren deal. Ugh.
Oh, Parsonen.
Parsonen. There we go. Parsonen. So that's. I talked about him for 20 minutes yesterday, and I couldn't remember his name. Go ahead.
Yeah, beer.
Mm.
I mean, I can't really say that, and Connor has only one N in it for Sherry. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so he only has one N, but I can't really say that it's that big of a deal to me. It's a PTO. I don't know who. I mean, LeBanc. Yeah, LeBanc is also, like I said, he's a winger. Maybe he's played center at some point, but that's a guy that's predominantly. I don't even remember him playing center in San Jose. I'm not going to lie to you.
No.
I'm not saying you're wrong that he hasn't. I mean, I can't say that I've watched every single game of Kevin LeBanc's career, but maybe Matt Grzelcyk. Maybe that's a guy that I'm actually. Maybe I would have said him over Andre Schuster, just because you need a left side depth and you need more puck movers.
Yeah.
But over Connor Sheary, no, because I think out of all the guys that got PTOs so far that I've come across, he might be the best player of them all. Like, I think there's like rebound potential with him, and I think he could fit. And I think Sullivan knows how to get a lot out of him.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So
Anthony?
I'll say beer.
I'm going to go beer because you're talking like, kind of like inconsequential stuff. I mean, it's a PTO. Chances are a lot of these guys aren't really going to make much of a difference. With that said, though, Connor Sherry played in only 5 games in NHL last year. The year before that, he was pretty ineffective. But you look at a guy, I just happened to see it earlier. The Penguins signed Robbie Fabry to a PTO. And this is a guay that,
okay.
He had 16 points in 44 games last year, which isn't bad, but more so, the 23-24 season, just a year removed, he had 32 points in 68 games with Detroit. So, a guy with more of a recent track record than Sherry. He's been playing more, and I think his, maybe his upside's still a little higher when you look at what he's done in small sample sizes. But again, I mean, doesn't really make a huge difference either way. That's just one guy I think you maybe would have been better to roll the dice on. So, I mean, yeah, it's a beer for me.
Yeah, I look over at Matt Grzelcyk and look at that bottom pairing or the bottom 4 of that defense and just think, oh my goodness, I mean,
you make a big case he should have got a contract, let alone PTO. I mean, he had 40 points last year.
Yeah, but the problem is with Grzelcyk is that, and O. Nyquist brought this up in a video, which he was absolutely correct on because I did the research on it, but he played a lot of time with Erik Karlsson, and that's part of why those numbers are a little inflated. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does away from Karlsson, because I don't think 39 assists is happening again. But listen, maybe they should have went with Fabry because of the lack of center depth, and I could absolutely sign up for that. But again, I don't know. I just feel like we're I'm not going to say
I
crying.
know we're kind of splitting hairs on this one.
Yeah,
this is the reason why we have Bar Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I guess.
Although Phil, let me just throw this back at you. Who are you more confident in, Matt Grzelcyk or Vakanainen?
I know what Vakanainen is. He's vanilla bean ice cream. He's there. He's nothing great. I mean, he's kind of just a body. Like if he comes in as if he's a seventh defenseman that plays as a six at a pinch, okay, like you can keep him around as a black ace type, like one of those guys.
What about Carson Soucy?
Get me the cannon, please, and let me fire that guy into the sun. I mean, I'm hoping that a change in system to play more of an aggressive zone defense as opposed to man-to-man can help them out, and you can get more out of Soucy that way. But I'm sorry, he has not been good for a while.
Phil, I'm going to throw one more back at you before we go to the next topic. That's going to make every guy cross their legs. But start, bench, or sit? Patrick Nemeth, Carson Soucy, Jared Tenorti. Or scratch. I guess you could throw the last one.
I think I'm just going to go skating to the boards head first and break my neck.
All right. Well, Phil alluded to this before, and this is something that actually it's just painful to even say. But last season, Anthony Duclair tore his groin off the bone last year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yikes. Yeah. I mean, that's okay to tell us that one. But I know hockey players are tough, and they want to keep injuries under wraps. But then you had Patrick Waugh made some comments, and we discussed them last year. I didn't like him. But Patrick Waugh is also a guy that he drove to Anthony Duclair's house in Montreal to apologize for his late season comments. Now that he's fully healthy, Anthony Duclair will score 20 goals now that he's fully healthy.
I'll go beer. The small sample size I saw of him last year when it was the Barzal-Horvat line, I think he had 3 points in 5 games. So, and he was Duclair as advertised, right? He was fast. He played with pace. And then he got hurt. And then when he was out for a while, and then when he came back, he just wasn't there. And, obviously now we know why. And Phil alluded to it earlier. Well, why is he not telling anybody that? How, why was he playing? So I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again, but, now that he's healthy again and, he's ready to go, he's going to be playing on a third line that I think could be pretty good third line between Pajot, who had a resurgent year offensively, and Simon Holmstrom, who had his best year of his career and has elevated his game a little bit. So I think that could be a real good third line. So yeah, if that line clicks, he has chemistry with Pajot from the past. I think 20 is within reach, but I'm not going to go round because I'm not guaranteeing it. But as long as he's back to himself, I don't see why it can't happen, especially if he gets power play 2 time as well on top of that, which I'm sure he probably will at least play in the second unit. So it's a beer for me.
Phil?
Anthony talked about line usage before. I think it's possible, so I'm going to say beer, but I wonder how much time he gets. Like, is it possible for 3 guys on a third line to score 20 goals? Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely nothing crazy. I don't know if I'm going to say round, just because, like I said, I don't know what we're going to get from him. Like, how is this going to affect his play? I get he's fully healthy, but how is this going to affect his play? Like we've seen, I saw Jaromir Jagr sustain groin injuries in like 3 consecutive seasons that really kind of hampered him. And it took him a while to get over that and get back to like true full health. Like he may be ready to go now, but like, is he really like the same as he was before. So that's part of what I worry about, and I also worry about his ice time. How are they going to use that line that he's on? Like if he's playing on that third line, how are they using that? Is that a matchup line? I mean, again, who is he playing with? A lot of questions. It's definitely possible. I'm not gonna. I can't say round. I have to say beer here.
You know, just call it a hunch. I'm gonna go round on this one.
Okay.
And one reason why is he had, let's see, it was 14 it was 24 the year before with Tampa Bay. He had 7 last year in 44 games, but again, he was injured, he was hurt. I don't think he's a power play merchant. In his career, he's got 110 goals, 41 of them are 110 even strength goals out of 153. It was the other way around that I had to say that. The other thing to mention is this guy's ruptured his Achilles tendon. That was supposed to kill his game because he was a speed guy. Then again, the groin is a little bit more of a problem in hockey. So it could be that. I just think Anthony Duclair is so resilient. I think he's gonna get that extra 6 goals and really prove everybody wrong. And I think he's gonna be a 20 goal scorer again. Because if you could do that, you could be healthy, you could score a lot of goals in the NHL. One guy that scored a lot was the guy that did it at UBS Arena on April 6th, Alexander Ovechkin, when he passed Wayne Gretzky, scoring on Ilya Sorokin. And by the way, if everybody wonders why I said that when healthy twice before, it was because for editing purposes. Let's get back to this one. I'm not just being redundant. Alexander Ovechkin will post. He'll have a post record breaking hangover this season. Let me do that one again because I have to do that as I just mentioned. Alexander Ovechkin will have a post-record-breaking hangover this season. Phil, you talk about that the Capitals might drop off. Let's start with you.
Well, first, when you say like hangover, so are you talking? So he scored like 40 last year. So are you like, what do you mean? Like only 20? Do you mean less than that? What would you say
with that, Anthony? Because we think he's scoring 20. Let's be honest. Alexander Ovechkin could do that.
Yeah, I think he could score 20 in his sleep.
But would 30 be the hangover? You think, or is that just age? So
I feel like we're bordering on a very thin line here because you could talk about hangover, but you're also talking about a guy that I think like just turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think his birthday was like yesterday?
Today.
It's today?
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm checking it right now because it's today.
No, it's today. Yeah, he turned 40 today.
Happy birthday, Ovi.
Great timing there with this topic. I don't know if you I don't know if you planned that, Mark, but
actually it was Anthony.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he turns 40 today. So big 4-0 for big number 8 over there. Again, parameters here are like context is key. I guess beer, just because what's the real context here, and how do we differentiate age versus hangover? Like, is that part of it? I mean,
that's a good question, and I think
where is the hangover if he has 33 goals? Do you consider that hangover?
Let's just say 20 or less.
20 or less?
Yeah.
Wow.
Shot.
Yeah. Then shot. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just cue up Little John shots with LMFAO, and because there is no way that he's scoring less than 20. No way.
Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a shot. I'm actually, just because he was one of my favorite players of all time. I'll be bold and say I don't think it's out of the question that he might not score 40 again. I still think he could if everything shakes right, and then he comes out guns blazing. He had a good summer training. Maybe his last year of his career. Maybe he's motivated to to go out on top and try to go on a cup run here. So I don't think that's impossible. I'm not saying he's going to do it. I just don't think it's impossible that he can't. So, but yeah, for 20 or less, I'm going to say shot. I think he'll at least score 30 this year.
Phil, what were you about to bring up?
You just look at his shooting percentages for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. I mean, actually, the last 7 seasons. 15.1, which was a then career high in 2019. That was his 51 goal season. Then 48 goals to tie the Rocket Richard in 2020. 15.4%, which was a then career high. And then since then, 13.2, 15.0, which was his last 50 goal season in 22. 14.3 in 2023. 11.4 in 2024, which was a 31 goal season, which everyone thought he was kind of teetering towards being done. And then last year was his career high, 18.6, which was 44 goals in 65 games, which would have been another 50 goal season, maybe even 55.
Yeah.
So, I think I would imagine the shooting percentage is probably going to regress quite a bit. But even if he regresses to, let's just say, 13%, is that still 35 to 40 goals over 82 games? I mean, I think it could possibly be.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a second part to this question in a second. But first, let me address this. I not only think it's a shot, but I think this is a layup shot now.
Yeah.
I don't think he's not scoring under 20. I think he'll get that over by Christmas. And of course, by the way, that does make it a hat trick. That I used this graphic yesterday when 5 people agreed. But let's go with this first. Alexander Ovechkin, there are several times, let's just go through his career, that he could have taken the foot off the throttle. After the 2012 season, he lost to the Rangers, and Dale Hunter was the coach. Really, kind of, maybe you could have argued things might have been different for him after that. Bam, 32 goals in a shortened season right after that. Wins the Hart and wins another Richard. All right, so let's go to 2018. He wins the Stanley Cup. There's the success right there. Bam, 51 the next year, and he's still motivated. What I'm getting at with this is, yes, 44 and 65 last year, and when he saw Gretzky in his sights, he definitely locked in. This is, it's just another motivating factor.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I wonder what the motivation is to maybe break 1,000. Like, is he going to stay beyond this year? Like, there's been rumors that he might go back to Moscow Dynamo after this season. I wonder if he's not locked in this year, like what he's going to do. And then if he's not locked in, what can he do when he's going out there just to have fun? And how serious is he going to take the game at that point? Like, I would imagine that's crazy to think about, that he could just go out there and probably score 20, 25 goals in his sleep while he's just messing around. But I just wonder what the mindset is here. Like, that to me is, I think, the biggest thing with this guy, because he could score in any way possible if he has the willpower to do it.
Now, first, let me just say this. I think actually, if you look at him in the pantheon of DC sports athletes, I think he's number one. I don't think anybody's even close.
Yeah,
Darryl Green, I don't even think is close.
No, I don't even care. Actually, Bryce Harper was gone from the Nationals when they won. So.
Yeah, Juan Soto was a rookie on that team when they won. But let me throw this back at you. First, I'll ask you, Anthony. We always talk about Jaromir Jagr's lost production because of work stoppages.
Yeah.
Right now, Alexander Ovechkin is at 890. I think he's at 897. Yeah, because he scored a couple other ones. Okay, so he's at 897. His rookie campaign got canceled out by the season lockout. He lost half a season twice now, once to a labor dispute and once to COVID. Do you think he would have 1,000 goals?
I mean, it's the what would have been his rookie year. I mean, that obviously it was 82 games, but COVID he only missed that was 12 games because of COVID. I think they had played.
Well, Mark's talking about the two different seasons. So 2020, Washington played how many games that year? I don't know if he missed any games.
19. That was the 1920 season. He played 60.
They played 69 games, so he missed one game out of his team's 69 games. So technically, he would have missed out on 13 games, or no, 12. Sorry, that was.
And he missed 11 in the COVID shortened season, which was 56 games.
Yeah, and he missed. So that one he missed. 45. Yeah, so he missed 9. No, 11. Sorry, yeah, it was 56. So he missed 11 games there. So it's really that's like 20 games. And then you talk about 48, so that's another 34 that he missed out on. No, and you know what? I can't say, would he have played in 2004, 2005? Possibly, but would that have been better for his development?
Yeah. I mean, maybe between the 12-13 season, the shortened season, the most recent short season, and the year that shut down for COVID. Is that right? As Dave said, that's 69 games? Is that the total?
Oh, yeah.
So
the season shut down for COVID.
What Washington played in 2019-20.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
So he would have missed. So he missed one game, and the team missed 13 games. So that's 14 plus another 11, 25. And then another 34. So that's 59 games that he missed total out of those 3 years, plus the broken leg last year. 59 plus 17 is 76 games he's missed.
All right, so 76 games, maybe that's what, 35 goals?
Yeah, but also I still think he would have played the rookie season.
If you're just going to assume he would have played that rookie, then yes, maybe. But again, it's ifs, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do look back at that 2012-13 season, and I always think about how he started off that season really slow, and then I think in like the final 20 or 25 games, he was scoring over a goal per game, and then came back to win the Rocket Richard and the MVP that year. So that's another thing to. But I don't know if I can really say that 2004, 2005 would have been like his rookie year, just because, one, how much differently would it have been if he would have came over a year younger? And what would it be with the rules? Like, would the rules have been two-line passing and the clutching and the holding? Would that have been called the way that it was the year before and the years before that? Because that would affect his game differently.
All right. Well, again, good points on these guys, because I just look at those games missed and think you could almost look at it and say 60 goals is missing. I think he's almost a scorer in almost any era. I think he put a 51 his rookie year. He could easily put up 30.
Here's a stat. He's the all-time leader in goals, and he's third all-time in hits. The only guy that we've seen in our lifetime that has come anywhere close to having that type of impact on the game is prime Eric Lindros.
Yeah. And imagine if his skull wasn't made of glass.
Yeah.
So
imagine if he knew that game with his head up. I mean, what he would have done. 1,500 points.
He was always bigger than everybody, so his head was always down. All right, guys, on to the next one. Matthew Tkachuk was sidelined until December after lower body surgery, because it's the NHL. That's the way you just say it. He just had lower body surgery. Anthony, the Panthers will be in first place in the Atlantic before Tkachuk returns in December.
It's basically saying they're not going to miss them all that much. Let's see. Lightning. You know what? I'm going to say Round. I'm going to say Round, and that's no slight to the Leafs or the Lightning. I just think even without Kachuk, the Panthers are still the top team in that division. I mean, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Marchand, then you got the guys like Luostarinen that chip in on the third line, and Lundell. I just think this is a fantastic team. I think without Kachuk for a couple of months, they'll still be the tops in the division. So yeah, especially with the Leafs, that Marner too. They just lost a 100-point player and didn't really add all that much. The Bruins, I don't see them. The Canadian, no. I mean, maybe the Lightning, if Vasilevsky plays like he did last year, he found his game, and they have a lot of weapons too. But I'm still going to stick with a Round. I think the Panthers could still do it.
Filk,
give me the hope. I'm gonna bring up one name, and I said it yesterday on our stream. Mackie Samoskevich. Look out. Like, that kid's going to have a breakout year, and he's going to get more time because Kachuk is going to be out. And that kid is, one, an incredible skater. Two, he's got a hell of a shot. And three, he's extremely talented. And Johnny Lazarus endorsed it in the chat as well. Samoskevich is going to be a real good player. I've watched him at the World Juniors. I've seen him in NCAA. I mean, this kid, he's incredible, man. I honestly think that's going to be a guy that's a big-time breakout candidate for next year. He had nice numbers this year, but I will say that I think that he's going to be near the top of big-time breakouts, and he's going to get more minutes due to Kachuk's injury. So they're going to have a next man up. They're a next man up anyway. That's just what this team does. It's next man up. Everybody's bought in. There's a culture and just a way of winning there. He's going to be the next cog in the machine that's going to come up, and everybody's going to know this guy's name by the end of the year.
Guys, I'm actually going to go shot on this. And I know everybody's going to look at me. If they're 2 rounds, I'm going shot. Here's the reason why I'm going to do this. First, I'll give you a couple of logical reasons. One, Sergei Bobrovsky really doesn't start off seasons very well. Last year, he was 5-2-1, 297 goals against, 892 save percentage in October, and then November, 888 save percentage, 311 goals against. And then December started looking more like him, 911 save percentage, 234 goals against, and he didn't drop below 911 until oh no, I'm looking at the stats and I'm saying, yeah.
No, that's just a funny comment. I
saw that. All right.
I mean, it's just funny because I feel like he could end up going to Florida and they turn him into an all right 5 or 6.
Because that's what they would do in Florida. They have their specific things. Here's the other thing to say. I don't think the Panthers care how you start or how you finish. It's how you finish in the playoffs. That's all that matters. Remember, at the end of March last year, they had a shot to win the division. Like, they were within 2 points. They went 3-6-1 in that span, including a loss to Toronto 3-2 in regulation. They lost back-to-back games to Montreal. One of them was in overtime. They went on a big losing streak, and I think it's just because they were getting their lineup set. They really didn't care how they started or how they finished. They were just like, all right, we're just going to do this, and we'll get ready for the playoffs. That's what the Panthers are now. I don't think the Panthers can win it as an 8 seed. I don't think they care. So we're going to see. We're not going to see the prioritizing first place.
I'm going to say, I did. Well, I said round already, but yeah, I think that there's no other team in that division that's really made improvements to the point where I can put them ahead of Florida. I can't. Tampa Bay hasn't made the improvements. I mean, they still have a decent roster, but their defense got exposed in the playoffs against them big time. especially that bottom pairing. Like you have Hedman and Moser together, which is a nice top pair. I mean, Moser's really kind of like a 4, you ask me. But McDonough and Chernak, which is a decent second pairing. But Radish and Lilleberg, like I don't trust that as a third pairing. And I mean, I look at their roster up front, and it's nice. But I mean, outside of their big guns, they need some help.
Right, but it's just that they're going to start out slow because they're going to try to fit these guys in. They're going to figure out where everything is, and then that's just what I personally think. So it's called a gut feeling. So we'll see about that one. Let's talk about a guy that's coming back into the NHL, guys. And before he sat out last season, Jonathan Taves was averaging 15 goals over his last 3 seasons. One of those years was a 53-game season, so we would have had at least a 20-goal season. And Phil, I'll start with you on this one. Jonathan Taves will score at least 15 goals for the Winnipeg Jets this year.
This is tough because I want to say yes. I got to say beer. I want to say I feel like I would want to say round, but I don't know, like taking off that much time. That's big. That's tough. And I mean, not that he's a slow skater, but he was not the fastest in the NHL at the time that he last played. I also wonder how much ice time he's getting. Like, I would imagine he's probably going to be on one of their maybe their top penalty killing unit. I mean, really, is he gonna play with Lowry on that? I mean, they've got some good depth players, but I don't think I can say anything other than beer, just because I'm not sure about this.
All right. And by the way, it's funny you brought up how he's missing time, because we're going to be talking about another player that missed a lot of time. Anthony, 15 goals at least for Jonathan Taves? Wow, the dog had an opinion on that one.
I'm gonna go beer. I think a lot depends on who he's gonna play with as his line mates. You know, obviously Scheifele is gonna be the 1C. Who's the 2C? Is it Lowry or is it Taves? Then
I think it was Lowry.
Yeah, probably Lowry. But then who are his wingers? You know, does he play with a guy like Mestikov? Does he play with Nyquist, Iafallo? Like I don't know what his wingers are, but I do think he's going to play some special teams. He'll probably, Phil said, I'll probably play a PK. Maybe he's on the second power play unit. So I mean, yeah, this is another one. I can't say shot around definitively. So I'll say beer, as long as he stays healthy and he can get up to speed quickly. I think that he can do it.
I might say beer because I might put him right at 15. There you go. That might be right there. Well, then actually, if it says he's going to score 15, I got to change that, guys. I'm going to go to round. I don't think he's going to be needed to be a big offensive producer for this team. If he's just another defensive center for that team that they could use to match up, and this guy's won Selkies, why not? And he was averaging 15 goals a season with a Blackhawks team that was really struggling towards the end of his time there. And he might have a little bit of energy coming home and being with Winnipeg. Maybe that'll help. Maybe the Winnipeg uses him as like a secondary matchup center. And sort of like I'm going to be wrong on this one, Anthony. I don't know which one I would say was the Islanders' number one matchup center in their heyday with Trotz, if it was either Pajot or Casey Cizikas. But either way, that's where you got guys that played in those roles and they thrived. I think I like Taves as a fit there. I think there's going to be some good offense production, and this guy's got a lot of talent, and for sure he's money in the shootouts. So I would go with that as well. like I said to it before, there's another guy that's missed a lot of time, and for a different reason. We won't get into that, or maybe even just a little bit. We'll touch on it. But free agent goaltender Carter Hart is looking to return to the NHL right now. He last played a game on November 24th. That should be January 24th of 2024, I believe it was, not 25. But you look at his last season, 25, 12 and 9, 906 save percentage, 280 goals against. The Oilers should trade for Connor Ingram, who not this season, the previous season, was the co-NHL leader in shutouts, over signing Carter Hart. Sorry. Anthony, let's go with you.
Yeah, the reason I included Connor Ingram in this because I saw earlier he's not going to camp and that the mutual decision team's going to try to trade him and find a new home for him. So I think I mean you have a guy in Carter Hart who hasn't played in a while. Granted, I would say his ceiling, even though despite everything, still probably higher than Connor Ingram. So I get that upside wise, but I'm gonna go round here. I think they should go Ingram over Hart. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna get from him. I also heard something about based on everything that happened, I think Carter Hart prefers to play in the U.S. rather than Canada. So I think that might come into play too. But I just think Ingram didn't have a great year last year, but I think he could be a great guy to platoon with and rebound. So I would go Ingram over Hart, but it certainly seems like there's interest in Hart. I heard the Golden Knights, the Hurricanes, Utah, oddly enough. So we'll see what transpires there. But as for Hart, he's definitely finding a home. I think that's a given. I even heard Dylan Dubé and Formenton, even McLeod, all might find jobs too. So we'll see. But I think Hart's definitely going to sign come October 1st, which has been reported.
Yeah, I can make a snide remark about Stan Bowman saying that he and the Oilers aren't interested in signing Hart, but I'll just bite my tongue on that one. Filk, which one do you think is better?
Carter Hart hasn't played a game since January 20th, 2024. So we're closing in on 2 years now that he hasn't played a game. It's well over a year and a half now that he hasn't played a game in. I've heard also the same thing that Anthony said before, that he might not want to play in a Canadian market, and I think that it also would be a distraction for not only the team but him. I mean, considering that it happened in Canada apparently, and it's a big. It's not just a Canadian issue, but it's a Canadian that was playing for the Canadian junior team. So I think it would be magnified if he was playing for a Canadian team. Yeah, I gotta go around here too. I understand the ceiling, but I just don't see a fit in Edmonton. I don't. I just think there's too much. I think it would be too much of a distraction. And I think Ingram, I mean, at this point, honestly, how does this incident go forward for Hart's career? Can Hart get to be to the level where he was thought of as a prospect? Like, can he get to be that goalie? I mean, I'm not sure of how this impacts him. I'm really not. So I do think that Ingram might be a safer choice, albeit one with not as high of a ceiling. But again, I just feel like they can't get outside that bubble to get that better goaltender that's a legitimate upgrade over Stuart Skinner. Not saying that Connor Ingram can't be an upgrade over what he was at times in the playoffs, but Stuart Skinner in the regular season doesn't exactly hurt them. It's the playoffs where he hurts them, and I don't think Connor Ingram is a major upgrade over him playoff-wise. I mean, Connor Ingram, does he even have any playoff games under his belt?
Yeah, I believe with the Nashville Predators. He has 4 games He was 0-3, but he played well. That was, I believe, against the Avalanche that year. 913 save percentage and a 3.64 goals against.
Yeah, I mean, he's got very minimal playoff experience. I don't know if you, again, I don't know if he's really an upgrade, but that's really not the question here. Around, just because I think the distraction is just too much for the Edmonton Oilers. I don't think they want that, and I think Ingram might be just. He could just fly under the radar there in Edmonton.
By the way, I'm sorry, guys. I have to start laughing about this because I was talking about the Nashville series that was the Avalanche versus Predators. You have a 913 save percentage and a 3.64 goals against average. You're in a shooting gallery. That's what happened with that. Like, I mean, you were under siege the entire time. I credit him for the 913, not blame him for the 3.64.
And they played Colorado in that series, so it's
And Colorado was the juggernaut that they were.
Yeah.
So let me just say this first. It's around for a lot of reasons. Carter Hart's rumored to be going to specifically. There's rumors of a Pacific Division team and a Central Division team, and the rumors of the Central Division team being Utah have been out there for a lot of it. And let me say, for every bit of this thing, that's why I'm buying around. The Oilers should not go near Carter Hart. The headlines in Canada are going to be too much. I don't know if he's an upgrade. And Connor Ingram is a good guy to take a flyer on. His last full season with Arizona, 907 save percentage, and he had 6 shutouts. And yeah, the goals against numbers weren't great, but that's also because he was playing in Arizona. 291 save goals against. The previous year, he had a 907 save percentage with Arizona and had 337 goals against. So it's just a matter of can they play better defense? And who knows? The other part of this, let me just say something on this. I don't think there's a more tailor-made city if Hart wants to rebuild his career than going to Utah. Because go to relative obscurity, and that's I understand they're a brand new they're a brand new relocated franchise. I'm still not saying they're an expansion franchise. That's stupid. Because they already had a roster by the time they got there. Carl Vejmelka is already entrenched, so you have to play into that role. And you're not going to grab any headlines around the league. Carter Hart signs with Utah. It's going to be it's going to be mentioned for a day and then kind of forgotten. And who knows? Maybe rehabs his career and his life that's over there. I don't have enough of an opinion on what happened because I don't have all the facts on it. But it's better for him to go to Utah and start his career over there. That's just what I think. And guys, by the way, if I'm wrong, feel free to let me know also. All right, guys, that was the end of Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk. We're engaged our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. And let me just hide this. We got some pick'ems we're going to do, and we'll keep the show rolling along.
I've got a gut feeling.
You want me to do 2 things?
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Now shoot!
Yeah, and the Green Goblin says we should now choose. So let's make some selections right here in the pick'ems. And Anthony, I'll start with you on this one. Looking at what they did last year in difficult situations, both top 10 scorers, who had the better 20, 25, 26 season? Who's going to have the better season this year? Let me correct that. Sidney Crosby or David Pastrnak?
They're both on teams that might not be very good. But I'm going to Crosby just because he's Sidney Crosby. No, not Pastrnak. He's one of the best goal scorers in the game today. But, Crosby's just defying time with, as he's getting older, he's still playing at a really high level. I like his all-around game better. So, yeah, I'll go with Crosby.
All right, Phil.
Are we going just based on points, or are we talking about underlying numbers, analytics?
Underlying numbers, quality of play.
Quality of play. That makes it tough because Crosby's the better all-around player, like by far. I wonder if the NHL will. I don't think the Selke Trophy has ever gone to a player on a losing team. Now that I think about it, I would want to verify that, but I don't think it has. Jeez, this is an interesting one, because I was going to say I do think that there is a possibility that maybe in Crosby's like twilight they could give it to him. I mean, I'm looking at all these teams and they all look like they were winning teams that the guys won with. Sorry. Thank you. I would say I'm going to have to go down with what impresses me more. I'm going to go with Pastrnak, because I do think that I still think that he's capable of 45 to 50 goals and 105 plus points, even on a roster as bad as it was. Because you got to remember, he pulled an Alex Ovechkin 2005, 2006, like last year. He outscored Morgan Geekie by 49 points, 106 to 57. That's nuts. Like, and the drop in scoring, like from him to Geekie, is insane. And I don't think Morgan Geekie is going to replicate that, especially shooting 22% last year. That's insane. That's a number that's likely going down. Maybe Pavel Zacha rebounds a bit to like his 55-point territory. There's no Brad Marchand there anymore. Elias Lindholm looks like one of the worst contracts in the NHL, because you gave him, $8 million to be a middle six center? Mason Lowry, I think, could be a big-time breakout guy. McAvoy could probably put up 50 points if he's healthy. But where is the scoring coming from in this lineup? Like, is Fraser Minton playing this year? Like, is that going to be one of the guys? I mean, John Farinacci, is he going to have an impact? I mean, he had one goal in the one game he played. He was on a line with Bobby Brink at the World Juniors for the U.S. when they won. I mean, is he gonna be playing with them this year? I mean, is that really where it's coming from, the younger guys? Because I don't know where the scoring's coming from in Boston. And for me, I think that's a little more impressive than what Crosby's doing. And Crosby still has guys like Carlson, Letang, Malkin, and so on around him, scoring-wise. So, thank you, Johnny. I think they're.
Oh, go ahead. Highlight that again, because I
think they're going to be even worse this year. I really have a hard time seeing Connor Geekie replicate a 22% shooting percentage season. Like that level of puck luck, that does not last. It just doesn't. And I don't know who is scoring for them. Who? Where is it coming from? If someone can answer that, I'd be a little more confident about the Bruins. So I think Pastrnak is going to probably score another 100 points, and he's going to be on an island of his own. He's just going to be going out there doing his own thing.
I agree with you on Pastrnak.
Brandon Carlo's gone too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just say I think it's Pastrnak. I love Sidney Crosby, what he's done, and everything he still continues to do and grow, even after almost 2 decades in the league. But let me just throw this out about Pastrnak. Pastrnak in the month of March last year, it was 14 games, 13 points. Maybe getting Marchand traded demoralized them. And you think about that line 2 years ago when he scored 60 goals, Bergeron, Marchand, and him. Like, you're like, all right, well, maybe he's just a passenger on that line. Then in the month of April, 8 goals, 12 assists in 8 games. He had 20 points in 8 games, and he finished with 104 on the season. Pasta, 106. Pasta, man, don't count this guy out. And if he's if he's going to be that productive on a team that might not be that good, I agree with you, Phil. I'm going to repeat what you said because it's going to lead me into the next one. He might be on an island all on his own. Speaking about guys, Anthony, from an island that are all on their own, better breakout candidate from Long Island, Matt Coronado or Shane Pinto. And let me just start by saying we are not taking any bets. Go ahead.
God. Mark, I'm gonna go with the Green Lawn product and Matt Coronado. Scored 24 goals last season. I saw 2 of those firsthand at UBS against the Islanders. Had 2 goals that game. I think he's got the better. I mean, because Shane Pinto had 21 goals, not too far off. But I think Coronado is the better finisher. I think he's got the better shot. So for those reasons, I'm going to go Coronado. But I really do like Shane Pinto as a player. I think his game's a little more well-rounded. But for this instance, I'm sticking with Coronado.
And by the way, I was just saying that because I know everybody's going to say that in the comments. So let's get that out of the way right away. Anyway, Filk. Yeah.
I'm with Johnny on a lot of this, but I've also got a soft spot for Coronado because one of my best friends who you've actually met, Mark, is actually personal friends, works with, we'll use that term loosely because he used to work for the company that my friend works for, but works with Richie Coronado, who is Matt's father. So I'm always pulling for Matt in that regard. And I'm going to go with Matt because I think that he's going to turn into a guy that's going to score like 35 to 40 goals in this league. So I'm going Matt Coronado.
This one's a tough one for me. Shane Pinto's already got 20 goal seasons, 2 of them under his belt. So, and being on that Ottawa team, which is loaded with talent, yes, as Johnny said, he's turning into more of a defensive center. But he also might be
more than just a 40-point scorer, though. I think that's like I can see him putting up like Batherson type numbers while being a real good defensive center.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I love me some Matt Coronado. I watched him last year, and I just think he's gonna break that glass ceiling. I think he's scoring 30 goals this year. There you go. I'll say it right now. So Matt Coronado is going to score 30. It's just looking at him going, this kid's got something. I think, well, that's all I got to say right there.
Little fun factor for you, Anthony. You'll like this. He grew up an Islanders fan. Him and his father are both Islander fans. So
yeah, I think when they came to UBS, I think Shannon Hogan was talking about that.
I know that personally. So
yeah.
I can verify that on a personal level. So.
Yeah. And let's go with this one now. Who's going to be the better rookie forward? They're both former Team USA teammates, but Ryan Leonard or Jimmy Snuggerud. And Phil, we'll start with you.
Oh, I like this one. I do. I liked what I saw of Snuggerud in the limited time he played with St. Louis. I mean, 4 points in 7 games. He was an absolute beast for them in the World Juniors. 4 points in 7 games in the playoffs as well. And yeah, Ryan Leonard is somebody that I think is going to be an absolute thorn in the side of both of these New York teams for the next like 10 plus years. This is a really, really close call for me. It comes down to ice time. It really does. Like, I don't know who's going to get more. That's the thing. I think Snuggerud might get more ice time in St. Louis. I mean, they to me, they need more help in their top 6. Like, I look at that top 6 and I say, oh, Thomas is great. Kyrou is great. Buchnevich is great. Where's the other help in the top 6? And that's where I think Snuggerud fits in. I wonder how Washington gives ice time to Leonard. Like, is he going to be on their third line? Is he going to be in their second line? I don't think he is on their first line unless he absolutely blows people away. But again, Washington was a big PDO team last year. So that's going to change. Their shooting percentages, I've listed them all. Career highs, like nearly across the board with everybody on that team. Strome, Protas, Ovechkin, McMichael, Nick Dowd. I mean, guys just all across the board. Unsustainable shooting percentages. So does that work in Leonard's favor? I'm going to go Snuggerud. I'm not trying to hate on the Caps. I just think that there is an easier path for Snuggerud than there is for Leonard.
Would you agree with that, Ant?
Yeah, I'm going to go Snuggerud. I think that he might get more of an opportunity in St. Louis. I think Leonard's going to play a heavier game. That a little bit. He has a little bit of that agitator in him, but still very gifted offensively. But overall, in terms of offensive skill, I got to go Snuggerud. So between that usage, I'm going to lean more towards Jimmy here.
I think all three of us would take Ryan Leonard on our team any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going Snuggerud as well.
Yeah, whoever wouldn't take him is either delusional or lying.
I know. It's just when we have a 50-50 shot between these two, we got to go with what the roles are. Snuggerud's going to have a bigger role, and Snuggerud's going to be somebody that they're going to depend on. I'm going to tell you right now, Snuggerud is going to be he might be my pick for Rookie of the Year. I'm going to reevaluate that one. I think he's very much in play for that. I just have a feeling everybody's
correlation here. Yeah, I think this is a good question.
Yeah.
I do like I said, I think ice time plays like the biggest factor in all this, and I just think that Snuggerud's got an easier path to getting better minutes. I also liked the way that Snuggerud looked in like play as opposed to Leonard. Maybe he might be a little more ahead of Leonard developmental wise because he's older. He was drafted a year before. But I love the way that he looked in that series. I mean, you score 2 goals and 4 points in 7 games as a guy basically coming straight from college in the playoffs against a real good Winnipeg Jets team. You got something going for you there.
Well, it's hard to argue sometimes who the better player is because there's going to be different things you're going to think about, different qualifiers. That said, who is the better all-time Russian? Is it going to be Igor Larianov or Sergei Makarov? Anthony, let's go to you on this one.
So this is another tough one too. They both had a lot of success over in Russia. For me, I'm gonna go Larianov, and a lot of it is because of just what, like, for instance, what I saw. Like, Larianov played, into the 2000s. His last year was 03-04. So I'm old, not old, but I am, teenager at that point, and I saw throughout the years, I saw a lot of his game. Makarov, he started in 89-90. I was 4 or 5. So first couple of years of his career, I know nothing about him. So, really, since I could probably say my first real good memories of hockey are that 92-93 year, which no coincidence, that's the Islanders' magical run to the conference finals. So, from there, you're only talking, he was in the league for, 3 more years at that point. And that last year in 97, he only played 4 games. So, really, it's just kind of like, a couple of years where you got to like see him or see what he could do. So, for me, almost kind of by default, I gotta go Larianov. I just grew up, watching him play and seeing everything he did for Detroit. So for me, it's Larianov, but they're both fantastic players. And when you think of not just best Russian, NHL Russians of all time, and you're just talking best Russians, period. These are some of the names that pop up after, maybe the first 4 or so.
Filk?
I mean, I think it kind of depends on what you value. Do you value the peak over the longevity? Do you value the NHL career over the Russian career? Do you value a guy that played until 2004? I mean, he was a shell of himself on the Devils that year, but I mean, I'm old enough to remember the Ovs line in San Jose. Makarov, Larianov, and Garpenlov, who was not Russian, but Swedish, funny enough. Johan Garpenlov was a very good player. But I'm old enough to remember that line. And the series that they had against Detroit when they upset Detroit in 94, and then, their run against Toronto, which they kind of got shut down in, but I mean, it still kind of helped. It propelled hockey in San Jose into the spotlight. Like if that doesn't happen, maybe we're looking at the Sharks differently for all we know. But I will say this: I've went back and I've watched all of the '87 Canada Cup because I think I've always wanted to watch all those games and see how that KLM line was with Vladimir Krutov, Igor Larianov, and Sergei Makarov. Mm-hmm. But that line was probably the best line of the entire 1980s. They were the most feared line in the world. And Sergei Makarov, for me, is one of the most talented Russian players I've ever seen in my life. Like what he did in that Canada Cup, like there's a play where he takes the puck from, I would say the blue line, the offensive blue line, and then curls around in the neutral zone. And he splits Mario Lemieux and Mark Messier and absolutely embarrasses both of them. And it blew my mind that somebody could do that to like those types of guys. And Lemieux wasn't a slouch defensively, neither was Messier. But the things that Makarov, I can only imagine what he was doing to the competition over there at that time. But for him to do that in a best on best in that type of situation, in that big of a tournament, tells me that there was a level that he was at that we hadn't seen from players outside of the NHL. Mm. Like that type of talent's unbelievable. So I mean, I guess I got to go Larianov just because he had the great NHL career up until 2004. But if anybody hasn't seen Sergei Makarov, I suggest you go give that a watch because that guy was an otherworldly talent.
There's so much to say with this that I can't help but. I mean, it's like, where do you split hairs on this? Larianov played until he was 43 years old. So let's strike that one from the record. Even though when he was 43, when he was 42 years old, he scored 43 points and 43 at 41. So this guy could still play later on. He was also money in the playoffs. He scored the OT winner against Carolina Hurricanes in 03, right, Phil? 02, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the only game-winning goal he had that year. 3-time Stanley Cup champion. I think he was the linchpin to completely changing around the Detroit Red Wings in the late 90s.
When they got him, that's when they had the Russian Five together, and that trade changed everything with them.
And even though it took them another season to really use the rush, to really do that, the Russian Five was there.
No, they used that right away.
No, they did it right away. I mean, it took another, but I'm just saying it took another season for them to win. Because
to win,
96 they didn't win, and then 97 that they did.
Ask Patrick Waugh about that. The Russian Five is the reason why Patrick Waugh told friggin' what's his name, the owner of the Canadiens, that he was quitting mid-game.
Yeah, they destroyed him.
They destroyed him. Kozlov had 4 goals in that game.
I still can't believe the Montreal Canadiens disrespected him that badly in that game. But anyway, going back to Makarov or Makarov, whichever one you want to put the emphasis on the different syllable. He's the oldest player to win the Calder Trophy at 31. He had a 30-goal season with Calgary. I think what's more impressive, Phil, he had a 30-goal season with San Jose en route to them beating Detroit in 94 and upsetting them. And in those playoffs, I mean, 14 games, 8 goals, 2 assists. And it's one of those things that was remarkable what San Jose was able to do. Not just that year. Everybody forgets they upset Calgary the year after that too. So I'm still going to go Larianov for his longevity and how well he did. But Phil, it's a tough one to say like that. It's tough to split hairs, because then I have to go with the Red Army years, and they were all great. Phil, let's go with a topic that both of us are kind of excited to talk about, and it's definitely a pick 'em, because everybody, if you were firing up your PlayStation or your PlayStation 2, more specifically, in 2005 or 2006, you think about all the different track lists that there were, and there were some great songs in different track lists. I think we're going to end up making a video about this at some point. But which is the better EA NHL soundtrack, 2006 or 2010? And for clear references, we're going to bring up first, this is the soundtrack for the 06 one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil. I mean, Billy Talent, Red Flag, that's always one that comes to mind.
Forward to Chirkopon by Bull for My Valentine, which is always a great early Fallout Boy from Under the Cork Tree, which was awesome. That was a good song from them. Institute, they had Gavin Rossdale from Bush on vocals for that song, and that's actually a really good song. Kaiser Chiefs,
Country from Avenged Sevenfold.
Backcountry, yeah. I mean, Pennywise and Knockdown. OK Go, which was really popular at the time for songs like Get Over It. And then Kaiser Chiefs, who ended up having a smash hit with Ruby that was on Guitar Hero 3 the following year. But there were just a lot of great songs on this. American Head Charge, Loyalty is actually not listed on here, and that's another real good song.
And Phil, I'm going to back us out of that for a second, because
pull up 10.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up 10 right now. So it's number 10, which is...
I didn't like that song. That was probably my least favorite song on the soundtrack, Bundy. Beat States Atomic Love was just a banger of a track. I love that song.
And Phil, there's definitely other ones, and here's another one where you got...
On Fire, Young Cardinals, which is a banger. Cancer Bats is probably that. It's probably my least favorite song on there, either that or the Ministry song. But Green Day, Know Your Enemy, Megadeth, Peace Sells. MXPX has one of the coolest covers of all time, doing Kids of America. Nickelback, Burn Into the Ground. I don't care what anybody says. That song's a banger.
Yeah.
Papa Roach, who I just saw Saturday night at Jones Beach. They didn't play Into the Light. I was actually kind of disappointed. They didn't play She Loves Me Not, which was on NHL 03, which I was
correct
disappointed in. Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane. Rancid getting on an NHL soundtrack is great.
Oh, and by the way, Phil, Dragon Force was at Mulcahy's the other night as well.
Metallica was in Amagansett like 3 weeks ago. Like, and I didn't know that. Like, are you kidding me? They were in Amagansett on Long Island. They played some like random venue. I was like, what the hell? Saw it on YouTube and I got pissed. That was 04. That was also a very good soundtrack. It's probably top 5 for me. But Nazareth I don't think is on any of the NHL soundtracks.
I think Brand New. I'm
Brand New was 04.
Yeah, Brand New did the quiet things that no one ever knows.
Yes, that was 04.
That was 04. I can't remember which one was Alien Ant Farm as well as...
Alien Ant Farm was 04. That was
SS Recognize.
Yeah.
And also Default Deny.
That was on
there as well. And if I remember correctly, was it Jimmy World was on that one too? Was that
Jimmy
the Sweetness?
World was on 03. Sweetness was on 03, yeah.
I mean, but we're picking between these two albums. Which one is the better soundtrack? Go ahead, Phil. You got to pick one.
Absolutely right about this. 14 was the last great game and soundtrack. Everything just nosedived after that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go 10. I'm actually going to go 10. And I love the variation here. I could think of maybe it's a bigger soundtrack, and I think of maybe only like two songs where I'm really like, I could do without, I could skip over. The Ministry song, even though I actually love Ministry, especially their earlier stuff, this is not really their best work. And then the Death March Cancer Bath song is, it's all right. It's nothing special, but Eagles of Death Metal, that's a Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age side project. And they're actually really good. If you like the Black Keys, like garage rock type sound, stoner rock, garage rock type sound, they're actually a really good band to check out. So,
speaking about which, what year did the Black Keys were on NHL? Was that it? Was a little
NHL 08 was their first one, and then they were on NHL 11 with Howling for You.
Okay,
and then I'm pretty sure they've had other appearances since, but the NHL 11 was big because Howling for You was a big song at that time.
A band that I always liked, and I only knew them because of the EA soundtracks, was Gob.
NHL 2002 and 2003 and 2004 all had Gob on there.
Right, but I don't think they had my favorite Gob song from there, which was Give Up the Grudge. I think that was actually
I think that was on an MLB
John Madden.
or it was on Madden.
It was on Madden.
Yeah. That's a good song. Ming Tran was
song.
actually one of my favorite Gob songs, and that wasn't on any of the games. But
wait, what was your favorite? What was that?
Ming Tran.
Okay. Now they also did a remake of Painted Black, if I remember correctly. That was pretty good.
Yes, they did. That was on not on The World According to Gob, the album before that, which had Self-Appointed Leader on it. Shallow, something about Shallow. I can't remember the name of the album.
But we're definitely going to make a video about this, about the best EA NHL soundtrack rankings, and I'll let you do that completely. It's just you think of these songs, they were on fire for a long time with these, and if I remember correctly, Phil, you could turn off certain songs on these. Some of these you didn't turn them off. You didn't turn off a single song, and it always really kind of get you pumped to play the game. Can't say enough about that. I'm gonna go with 10 as well. And look, it's got Nickelback on there. So what? That song is a banger. And obviously Green Day, Know Your Enemy. It's got Megadeth on there. I saw the big four. They were great.
2 years in a row. They had Dystopian Chaos on 11.
Yeah. So I mean,
I like the Chaos. Sorry, on 11s. I missed.
Yeah, and
I mean,
I loved when they had Default on there.
Yeah, Default was 03. That was Deny.
Yeah, that was Deny. That's one of my favorite Default songs, and especially you hear that beginning. But when they had Sum 41, I think that was
02.
Well, it was obviously Fat Lip, but I forgot the other song.
It was Fat Lip.
Makes no difference.
First single Makes No Difference, and Makes No Difference on Half Hour Power. So,
but I mean, and NHL was on fire. I haven't played NHL games since
I think
2018.
21 was my last one.
It's just I got this. This is my NHL. But guys, that's the end of Big Apple Hockey's pickups for today. Like I said, I think that one's going to be a banger. Speaking about which, this week we're going to be releasing Filk's NHL What Ifs. You've been hearing about that now. Ones. Yeah, the ones for the Rangers. There's going to be other ones in the future. There's lots of. We'd love to know also what you think. What if questions you would have? What if Teemu Selanne stayed in Winnipeg? How about that one? That could be something in there. I often wonder what it would be like if John Tavares stayed with the New York Islanders. But that's got a lot of moving parts to that one too. So but this is some things that Phil was able to think about, and that's a good list. And I think we all kind of know what number one is. Phil, Phil, let's take some questions first. Do we have any questions or any comments? And you guys have any? Throw them on down.
Yeah,
We'll
I would say throw them in the chat. I mean,
yeah, we'll wait about 10 minutes. We'll see if Anthony's around, and we'll do some puck doku in a minute.
Yeah.
But Andy's saying the new 26 is kind of smooth. I always found the Be a Pro. I'm trying to remember which Be a Pro it was, where it was to answer the different questions, and there were different ramifications for you and your development. But then eventually I think you're able to just figure out which ones you would do, and that ended up helping you. But I liked when they would be like, the teammates were going to play a prank on a player, but you don't think it's right. What should you do? And should you let the coach know? And it gave you the double-edged sword, sort of like when you play a Telltale game, where it's like, I got to make a choice, and it just says on the bottom, like, so-and-so character will remember this. James is asking right here, Phil, what are your thoughts on having the fourth line center? Sorry. What are your thoughts about having the fourth line be a center and two defensemen on the wings and just go out there and shut down the top line and save your other? No, can't.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to play out of position. I'm sorry. I was laughing at Brian's comment. We'll highlight that one next. But I can't do this. The only guy that's really ever been able to there's two guys that have really been able to switch positions that I can think of over the last 30 years. It's Fedorov and Burns, and Brendan Smith, they tried that with him. Remember that in 29 and 20.
Yeah, it was not that great.
They had him on a line with Michael Haley and Elias Anderson. That was their fourth line, and it was just not a good line. They were getting eaten up out there. So I'm not really a fan of that.
Yeah.
I still think the thing that should not be is more underrated track than Eye of the Beholder. I'm still waiting for your Metallica list, by the way, buddy. You said you needed a day for it. It's like a week later, bud. Come on.
I probably got to give you mine.
I want to hear.
And by the way, Phil, you remember there was a game where John Muckler played Brian Leach at forward to go up against Pavel Bore. I think the Rangers lost 2-0 in that, and the one time Leach wasn't on the ice, Bore scored. But
Leach is the one guy I could think of going from defense to forward that could really do it because of the skating and the offensive talent. But it's just not a good idea. And listen, James, I get it. It's just an idea. I don't see it working. I mean, really, you got to have a special type of talent to be able to do that. And that's why Fedorov was able to play defense the way that he did, because he was just unbelievable. But I mean, I don't see it.
And I know, Brian, what you're saying right there, I would have done it with Key last year, given how much of a problem he was. But the answer on that also is, unfortunately, Kendrick Miller was
drafted as a forward. You got to remember, he was drafted as a center. So
yeah, and which, by the way, I still don't understand how he wasn't a defenseman most of his career with that shot. Jeez, that he has a bomb.
He always had a cannon, even back in junior. I never understood it either, but whatever.
But by the way, just to mention in on Phil's list, I don't recall him saying Dyer's Eve was in his top 20 or his top 10.
Oh, it was not in my top 20. Sorry.
Dyer's Eve is in the top 10. I have to, if you ask me between the two of those, by the way, because Metallica I know a good amount about until 2003 when I stopped caring. But that's a tighter one, but I might go the thing that should not be ahead of Eye of the Beholder, which I think is a very good song. That was, if I recall correctly, their first single off of Injustice for All, even though it still had Blackened One, which would be their first video.
I don't think that was I could be wrong.
I think I remember my brother Joe having the cassette. That's the reason why.
It's That's a good question.
But-
What were the singles on that album? I know one was a single.
Well, one was their
Oh,
first
no,
ever video.
all right. So the 3 singles from that album were Harvester of Sorrow, Eye of the Beholder, and One.
Okay. And by the way, Harvester of Sorrow, not exactly a fun fact because it's a fact. It's not fun. My first 2 car accidents I was in my life, Harvester of Sorrow was playing. I skipped over that for a while.
Oh, that's PTSD right there.
And this is definitely Anthony who's ringing in right here with a
No,
good
that's
one.
me.
Battery. Oh, it's you?
That's me.
Okay.
Anthony's
Battery's
a
in there
huge
too.
Metallica fan.
Although, fun fact also, this again, not really that fun of a fact again. When I was a little kid, my brother Rob, I used to have batteries just kind of hanging out when they died. I never threw them away. My brother Rob whipped the D-cell battery off my temple and said, "Kill him with a bat's all right."
Yeah, that's kind of savage.
Yeah, I mean, that's what brothers do. By the way, I think I was 9 years old, so of course I did the little kid crying, where it starts with a dink.
Yeah, Battery is their best opener for sure. James
Blacken's a good one too. Blacken's right there.
So now I gotta find the tweet that I replied to Brian. I gotta go through my.
Actually, Filk, and you're selling short Fight Fire with Fire. But then again,
I would have that behind
is Enter Sandman. So
all right, Enter Sandman is like the McDonald's of heavy metal for me.
that is true.
Like it's not that it's a bad song. I've just gotten so tired of it between hearing it from Mariano Rivera, which I kind of missed that part of it. But
And
like,
Billy Wagner.
well, it was Mariano's song. Billy Wagner can scratch. Sorry. Sorry, bud, but you can scratch. I would say that Fight Fire with Fire is probably right behind Battery and then Blackened. Blackened is just an unbelievable opener.
And David saying right there, Wolf and Man is the best song on that album. I'm inclined to agree. I think I might still go with Enter Sandman. I know it's, as Phil said, I mean, you still got Sad But True, which was a good one.
That was just
Wherever I Might Roam or Nothing Else Matters. We could go with a lot of songs off the Black Album that are really good. But I still look at everything before the Black Album, Justice, and before that. That's pinnacle Metallica. Absolute peak.
I liked My Friend Is Misery. I don't think that's one of the top 3 songs on that album. So, all right. So I gave Brian a top 10 off the top of my head.
All right. We'll do this real quick before we go on Puck Toku.
This is not in order, by the way. I'm just giving you 10 songs. I'm not giving you in any order. 4 Horsemen, Seek and Destroy, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, Creeping Death, Battery, Master of Puppets, Sanitarium, Blackened, and One.
All right. Go ahead again.
You want that list again?
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. I'll say it slower then. So it was hold on, let me get back to it. 4 Horsemen, Seek and Destroy.
Got it.
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Okay.
Fade to Black, Creeping Death, Battery, Master of Puppets, Sanitarium, Blackened, and One.
See, this is the problem I have when we're doing these rankings on them, because I want to put other ones in the top 10 and go, that's got to be there. But then you start thinking, which one am I knocking
Trigger
out?
warning for Brian over here. Trigger warning, buddy.
And Disposable Heroes was great.
I
So
love
Phil-
Disposable Heroes. Brian does not love Disposable Heroes.
And so let me just say this one. Because I think the most underrated song on there that you just mentioned, and it's funny to say this now in 2025, but it's underrated.
Saint Anger. Saint Anger is the best at having the most shitty tuned drums ever. Sounds like a freaking garbage can. Oscar the Grouch is probably playing drums for them instead of Lars.
But I mean, I want to move somebody in there, but Creepin' Death is such an underrated song, and it followed me along in my thinking. My comparable for that was, it's sort of like they retold the story really well.
Yes.
in a heavy metal format. The only thing, the song that comes to mind is "Rime of the Ancient Mariner" by Iron Maiden.
Oh, what a banger of a track! That's an underrated track. It's
And-
very long, which it loses people. That's the problem.
Right, but it retells the story of the "Rime of the Ancient Mariner" so well.
Orion is probably their best instrumental.
Well, it's either that or Call of Cthulhu. But then again, I love To Live Is to Die as well. So, yeah. I thought the basis
is actually Cliff Burton's very last work with Metallica.
Yeah, unfortunately, and Ride the Lightning was great. I thought that Jason Newsted was great for them.
He was, but they. So if anyone watches Becoming the Night on YouTube, he's a metal YouTuber. He actually plays, and he's pretty smart, I would say. But he actually messed around with some equipment and kind of mixed and mastered a recording of Injustice for All with the bass actually turned up. So it's actually interesting to see how that sounds. But he did that a while back, and it sounded pretty good.
I don't know which one I want to recommend as far as YouTube videos that are music inclined. Both of them have to do with Queensryche, which was one of the first ever bands that I ever watched live. Actually, it was the first band I ever watched live. But
top 10. I do love Fight Fire with Fire, but that's.
But there's a great video of a vocal coach listening to Jeff Tate sing "Take Hold of the Flame." You should see her reaction to it. Her first time ever hearing that. And the second thing is an audio engineer was going back to when they recorded Empire, the song, and seeing how well that did. Supposed to be Harvester.
Yeah, he put Injustice for All, but meant to put Harvester of Sorrow in there, which is, I mean, I like Harvester of Sorrow. I don't know if I would have put that in my top 10.
I say all the time, Freight Ends of Sanity, I think, is the song that everybody overlooks on that album. And it's not just because it's been in my workout playlist since I had a workout playlist, but that is just, I think that.
Oh, you meant Harvester of, for honorable mention. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Harvester of Sorrow to me is like their attempt at trying to do Master of Puppets all over again, and Puppets is just. I think
the best tracks ever in terms of metal. That's just it. In terms of writing and composition, I don't know if you could get better than that.
And by the way, let me just throw this one out there, Phil. If you have can you actually say, because I have this point of view, to me, Master of Puppets is one of the best rock songs of all time. If you had made a top 50 best rock songs, but to me, it wouldn't be my favorite song off that album because I think that's Disposable Heroes. I mean, and by the way, Master of Puppets is an album. Pick a song. What's the worst song on there?
The God That Failed is in my top. It was in my next 10. And I think that's one of James's better work lyrically. I really do think that it holds a place for me because it's about his mother dying of cancer, and I can relate. But I just think the lyrics in that album, in that song, are incredible. I think lyrically that's some of his best work. And the guitars are underrated on that track.
And again, going back to Dyer's Eve. Dyer's Eve, that's some of James' best work.
So that's right up my alley right there. And Census Fail actually does a really good cover of Institutionalized, if anybody's ever heard it.
I think, by the way, underrated, and we're talking about a lot of this, is some of the stuff that were off of Garage Days.
Garage Days Revisited. Army is another freaking awesome album. Probably their last great album is either Lights, Camera, Revolution or Join the Army. Take your pick.
Their version of Last Caress was fantastic.
Their Diamond Head covers are so freaking good. The Prince that guitar solo at the beginning of The Prince is just phenomenal.
And at the same time, I can't believe how good their cover of Whiskey in a Jar is.
Yeah. That's a great cover. Their turn the page cover is unbelievable. Am I Evil? Another great. That sounds great because they recorded that sometime between Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All, and yeah, that's an awesome cover. Their cover of Blitzkrieg by Blitzkrieg.
What was the Queen song? Stone Cold Crazy.
Stone Cold Crazy was an awesome cover. And you know, it's funny because you look back to like heavy metal and stuff like that, and you could talk about like the early days of it. Stone Cold Crazy is like right there with like the very early days of heavy metal, because like Priest released their first album, I think Rock and Roll was 74. That Sheer Heart Attack was 74, 75. I think it was.
But just to say this, Sean mentioned this right here, that they had a great start. They were great from start to finish, the whole sellout BS. Well, I mean, yeah, they kind of became sanitized a little bit under Bobby Rock from the Black Album through the two loads. I don't even know, because but then again, Reload, they had some gems that were in there. And we got Anthony back, so now we're ready to do some Puck Doku. Welcome back, Anthony.
Talk, because that ended up someone in the chat decided to rag on me for taking the thing that should not be over Eye of the Beholder, but neither here nor there, sir.
And by the way, S&M to me was one of their last great albums, because it really fused together a lot of different musics.
Don't care what anybody says. No Leaf Clover is a banger.
No Leaf Clover is a banger. They're all.
I love that song. Good day to be alive, sir. Good day to be alive, he said.
All right, Phil, go ahead, expand this, guys. We're gonna do some Puck Doku, and
it doesn't get full screen option anymore. It gives maximize the same thing.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so on our top access, we have the Avalanche, Philadelphia Flyers, and the Montreal Canadiens. And the Y-axis, we have the Bruins, the Calgary Flames, and a 50-point season. So, gentlemen, where do you want to start with this one?
I think I have one for Colorado, and Colorado 50 points. Go Andrei Kovalenko.
Okay, Andrei Kovalenko, who, if I recall correctly, wasn't he in
the No. Use him for Bruins and Avalanche. Use him for Bruins and Avalanche.
Bruins and Avalanche. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Andrei Kovalenko. Boom, 0.7%.
Boston and Philly. Rob DeMaio. Former Ranger, Rob DeMaio.
Yeah. I love it how you said former Ranger, not former Islander. Rob DeMaio, if I recall correctly, I think he was compensation for Larry Plow.
Who? Larry Plow was the assistant general manager who ended up becoming the general manager of the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
I got
under Neil Smith.
For Boston, Montreal, you could use Mariusz Strachowski.
Ooh, that's going to be a low one.
That is going to be a low one? All right, let's see.
Islander.
0.8%, Anthony. You're on the ball.
Right. Calgary and Colorado. So that's also Quebec and Calgary. Mikhail Taratanov play with them?
Can you use Jimmy Dowd for Colorado and Calgary? Did he play for?
Actually, I do believe he did, but hold on, because maybe I could think of another guy that might be somebody we have.
I have more too. Like Blake Como played for Calgary and Colorado.
Oh, I got a better one.
Jimmy Dowd played for both Colorado and Calgary. That is accurate.
Okay, but I got a better one for you. What? How about Claude Lapointe, former New York Islander and tenant for my friends, the Ink Pens?
Okay.
I didn't realize he played for I didn't know he played for Calgary.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Mark is correct. Okay, look at that. Joel Otto is too obvious. Yeah. We're not using that one.
By the way, the one thing I always
Really
remember
is
about
how
him
good.
was he said how good Jason Blake was going to be once he can just get his head screwed on straight.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well, actually, I paraphrased the rest of it. He said Jason Blake's going to be good once he's able to focus a little bit more. Something like that.
Philly and Calgary.
Philly and Calgary.
Did
Joel Bouchard play in Philly?
I
I
think
think just Pittsburgh.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I thought Joel Bouchard played in Calgary.
I like using Joel Bouchard.
Dennis Gauthier, I think, would be too obvious.
Yeah.
what about German Titoff?
I think he played in Pittsburgh, not Philly.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, he was Pittsburgh.
You went to Pittsburgh.
I remember him in Calgary and Pittsburgh. I think he played for Edmonton and maybe Anaheim after.
Did Enrico? Did he?
Enrico Ciccone?
Okay. I'm going to check Enrico Ciccone. I'm going to go to one guy I always like going to.
He never
Oh, he
played
didn't play for either team.
He played for. I know he played for Dallas and Tampa, and I think Montreal. I don't remember who after that.
Well, here's my question: is Damon Langkow going to be too high?
Yes.
David Langkow is going to be way too high.
Okay, then
That's
we could
going
use
to
him
be
for
like
the
a
50-point
5
season for the Flyers.
Because that's too obvious.
But we could always use it for the 50-point season.
For Philly, yeah, definitely. You could put him there.
All right, so
Yeah.
0.2%.
50 points. Colorado, you could put Scott Young or Adam Deadmarsh. I would say Scott Young.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant, but yeah. Anthony?
I think Scott Young might be a 1%er, but it's okay.
You're right.
0.7. Let's go, baby.
Guys, I got one for over here, but I'm not sure whether or not it's going to be a good high one.
Did Vladimir Malakoff have 50 points from Montreal?
No, I don't think he hit 50 in Montreal. I think the only times he hit 50 were with the Islanders, 93, 94, 50, and 60 points. I don't think he hit 50 after that.
Oh, you're right.
You are correct. He never hit 50 after the New York Islanders.
Um,
However, there's a former New Jersey Devil I'm thinking of right there.
Stefan Richer?
Sheldon Surrey.
Too obvious.
Too obvious. Okay.
Yeah, because he's on a short list of recent defenders that were like 50, 60 point defenders for them. Like if you use him or like Mark Strider, Andrei Markov, that's going to be Craig Rivet. Definitely not hit 50 points in Montreal. I can tell you.
Yeah, neither did Benoit Brunet.
Matthew Schneider.
Schneider, I think, is going to be high up because a lot of people are going to remember him from the 90s. And he was a part of that big trade for Turgeon. So,
yeah, Schneider would be 52 in 94. And also that would be for them. I don't know. Matthew Schneider might get overlooked, but we'll see that one when we check out the numbers.
50 points, Montreal. Did Gary Leeman have his big year with Montreal or was it with Toronto?
Oleg Petrov at 50 points.
Oh, that's a good one. You know what? Hold on.
Nope.
No.
47.
No, yeah. I was about to say, I know he had like a 20-plus goal season, but he was, 47.
All right. The guy that I was thinking of, Patrice Brisebois, never hit 50.
Valerie Bure never hit it with Montreal. He hit it with Calgary. He had that 75-point year in 2000 when he made the All-Star, the World All-Stars, and he played with Pavel Bure on a line, his brother.
Tough one for Montreal because we're trying to figure out.
Perezogan, he didn't do 50 points.
No, Perezogan was more known for a stick swinging incident in the minor with Hamilton. I remember that was a big thing when that happened. Could you imagine if that happened in like today in the social media days? People would be calling for his head.
Kostitsyn, but that's
too obvious. I mean, what about Brian Savage? He had to get 50.
Hold on. Mike Keane had a 60-point season with them, I think. I think in 93. Hold on.
I'm on it. I got it.
Yeah, he had a 60-point year in '93.
All right. I think that's the easy one. Mike Keane right here. 0.4%. All right. So we got 2 more slots to fill. We got a Flyer and a Flame and a Flame and a Canadian.
Flame and a Canadian. You could use Gary Lehman. You could use Gary Lehman for that one.
Okay, so Gary Lehman right here. 1%. What's up with that?
Fuck you.
Woo!
So a flyer, and a flame.
Which, by the way, sounds a little bit like Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force. We were talking about that before.
I see what you did there.
Oh, what about I mentioned before, a friend of the show, Jim Dowd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going Jim Dowd. Jimmy, who we got to have on to talk about Penn State hockey soon.
Yeah.
All
sorry,
right.
guys, I screwed us out of that one.
No,
Well,
I wouldn't have thought.
Blair Betts actually would have been a good one too from David Wood. That would have been a really good one.
Blair Betts actually, because I forgot he played in Philly because that's when the Rangers swapped Donald Brashear for Blair Betts,
I was about to
essentially.
say I remember thinking that they slapped Blair Betts in the face by signing the guy who knocked him out of the playoffs.
And broke his orbital bone.
Broke his orbital bone. That was such a cheap shot from Brashear.
All right, 50 points in the season for Colorado / Quebec.
Wojtek Wolski.
Ryan O'Reilly was under 1%. And Wojtek Wolski, Mike Ricci, Dale Hunter, Rob Blake.
Andre Burakovsky got only 0.6. That's crazy.
Wow.
I can't even believe that.
What was one of the other guys we were thinking of?
Tony McKegney, none I use a lot. JT
Kovalenko.
Cooper.
Steve Reinprecht, who I use a lot.
Robbie Fatorak, because he did. Wait,
Because he what?
Oh, he didn't.
Curious, where did Matthew Schneider rank for Canadians?
That's the one. Oh, that's actually one of the ones I wanted to check, Anthony, because let's go right to the bottom over here. Matthew Schneider would have been less than Mike Keane. Wow. Serge Savard, Eric Cole, Richard Zednick. That was another good one. Even Brian Savage was under 1%. Yeah. Dennis Savard was under 1%. I know he was at the end. So was Sheldon Surrey.
That's crazy. Oh, Sheldon Surrey was under 1%.
Yes, those Chris Chelios, Mike Matheson, Marty Ruchinski, Andre Kostitsin also would have been on the. We got a lot of guys.
Ruchinski there too.
You know what it is? I guess when you have a team like the Canadians have been around for so long, and it's 50 points, and you have a lot of players that did it. I guess it just lowers the.
Yeah,
but Anthony,
because there's so many people that have done it. Yeah.
Anthony, one of them's Larry Robinson, who's one of the best defensemen of all time.
I used last time in Puck Doku.
Yeah, Mark Recchi, and this is kind of blowing my mind how many people were not in there. By the way, Calgary and Joel Otto, you were right, Phil, 7%.
I told you that was going to be too high.
Yeah, Tyler Pitlick would have been a good one. Blair Betts would have been played for.
Oh God, I can't believe he played for both of those teams.
All right, to the Pyramid Boys. Here we go. All right, so we got to have a player that's in the 90s that played, 36th season, 1,000 career points, then a guy that played in the 2000s, as well as all these for the Montreal Canadiens.
JHL player. Oh, that's obviously Guillaume Latendresse.
No, but usually you can tell who they're leading you to. I can't think of an exact player that they're leading you to there.
Yeah, we're gonna figure that one.
No, yeah, obviously.
All right, so name a player in the 90s, Mr. LaRocco.
Any player in the 90s, huh?
Yep.
Tony Twist.
Bill McCall.
I was going to go Brad Delgarno, but I like Bill McCall better.
Yeah, McCall is going to be an obscure one.
30 assists in the season in the 90s on any team, or it could be any team, but he also played in the 90s.
Mike Keane.
1,000 career points, played in the 90s with a 30 assist season.
1,000 points, played in the 90s, 30 assist season.
I mean, Dougie Wade, but we could use him in the next one.
Brian Trottier and would qualify.
Wait, Doug Waite did play have 1,000.
Yeah, Doug Wade has 1,000 points.
All right.
So Dave Andreychuk fits that as well. You could, if you want to use a player that. Oh, actually, you could use Andreychuk in the next one too, because he played up until 2005, 2006. I think was his last year.
You could use Larry Murphy too.
Larry Murphy's another one. Yeah.
All right, so we'll use Larry Murphy right here.
Larry Murphy, yeah.
Because I don't think we're going to need Larry Murphy in the rest of these. Okay.
You use Dave Andreychuk there.
I think I might have figured out who they're pointing at. I just want to make sure.
Who?
No, I thought they were pointing at Recchi. But
Recchi played for the Kamloops Blazers.
He didn't play in the Quebec.
Yeah.
I know that for sure.
Okay, so right here we were using who?
You want to use Dave Andreychuk?
Dave Andreychuk over Doug Waite?
Your guys' call there. I don't care.
Dave Andreychuk is still a 0. Okay.
Now, 90s to 2000s, 30 assists, 1,000 points, and a Canadian.
Okay, obviously we got Recchi in place, but let's see somebody else. Turgeon.
Pierre Turgeon fits this as well.
Yeah.
1,000 points makes it harder because
actually Pierre Turgeon might fit the top one.
I think, he played in the queue. That's definitely.
Yeah, he definitely. Played.
Yeah,
I don't remember what team he played for in the queue, but I know he played in the queue for sure.
So we got our top one. Let's see if we can get somebody else that's in there.
Vincent Damphousse.
Damphousse would probably be another. Yeah, okay. So Pierre Turgeon, I think, was a teammate of Patrick Waz in Granby.
Yeah, he was. I just said it.
No, he didn't play with Waz, but he did play for Granby.
Damphousse, by the way, 1,200 career points and does fit into all those categories.
Everything else, Damphousse does fit this.
So I
just wonder how much of a uniqueness Corey's going to give you, because I feel like
I think we should hold on to Damphousse for the very end, or use Turgeon here because sometimes they trick you with that.
Damphousse played in the queue though too. I know he played in the queue.
Yeah, he definitely played in the queue.
Laval Titan and Laval.
Unlike the
Laval Voisins, he played for the Laval Voisins, who was Mario. He was actually teammates with Mario Lemieux.
Anthony, you were saying?
Unlike the last few pyramids, this one has more than one answer for the last square. Usually, there's just one answer for the last.
Yeah. But Turgeon and Damphousse fit this.
And the question is, we have to figure out who's going to be less. And Turgeon did just make the Hall of Fame. And sometimes we could do with that. You could use one of them for a different square. But we also know Mark Recchi fits this as well right here. So there's got to be another guy that's in there.
Wow.
Alexei Kovalev?
Kovalev fits this perfectly as well. That's another one that fits.
I mean, we just saw Mark Recchi get underneath that, so Kovalev might be in there. He might be higher than Recchi. Oh, this is tough.
What about Doug Gilmour?
Doug Gilmour fits this as well.
Yeah, because Doug Gilmour played into the 2000s.
Doug Gilmour's last.
I think Doug Gilmour is a good
Montreal.
I think Doug Gilmour is a good guess for this one.
Yeah, I think he probably fit. I think.
Well, hold on. Did Gilmour play in the queue?
No, he fits the Montreal portion, but not the queue. He played in the OHL.
Yeah.
Scott Mellenby did not have 1,000 points.
So there's other options right here. And I think this will fit right here because I think
Gilmour definitely fit.
Doug Gilmour did play in the queue.
No, he didn't.
I'm looking right now. He played 1 year for the Cornwall Royals in 80-81.
That's OHL.
No,
that's the OHL.
Wait a minute.
Oh, they went from the Q to the OHL.
All right, Anthony. My apologies on that one.
No, you know what? That's actually a good find by Anthony.
So, do you want to use Recchi here or Danfus here, and then actually go Vinny Danfus?
Wow, you could use Doug Gilmour there.
Yeah.
Wow. Use Danfus.
We're going to use Danfus. We're only at 10. And then Doug Gilmour goes up here. 17. Let's see how we did, boys.
I want to see what those last two were.
See, it's a good thing we talked this out because I thought Alexei Kovalev was going to be too high on that. Turgeon was going to be number 1. And Anthony, great find because that's unbelievable that Gilmour's there.
Yeah.
3 different possibilities.
Do that.
Turgeon would have been the this is where the tricky part is.
Screwed either way.
Well, no, it's this is where sometimes if there's a multiple answer, you have to worry about can you use the guy that's on top the way Turgeon's number 1? He wouldn't be number 1 on this. We'd have a unique score right there. Yager number 1 on this was 2000s and some of these other ones. And then we're going to be here for a while if we keep doing that. So let's get us back. Hello. That was a good pyramid.
Yeah, we have 433 viewers right now. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. I know most of you guys are on X right now.
Right? So
yeah,
people need their hockey fix. It's so close.
Yeah, we're getting closer. The fact that I could say we're Freddie Sjostrom days away tells me we're close.
And that's for
first
night.
Preseason game Sunday.
Yeah, preseason game on Sunday. Let's see. It's probably going to be not a lot of the stars that is going to be playing, but who knows? I mean, you got to impress the new coach. You got to come out and you got to find out where your roles are. So we'll see.
Bleacher Report open ice. Connor McDavid continues to emphasize he has confidence in the Oilers' ability to win this season. With what goaltending?
Yeah.
And you ain't beating Florida. I don't think anybody's beating Florida. I think they're 3-peating, but
by the way, Anthony tweeted, Anthony texted us before that Michael Backlund's been extended.
Yeah, $3.5 million per year.
Yeah.
That's a good contract for them.
It is.
It's and he's still a very good third line player.
Mm.
So like you're getting a very good player at that rate. Well, he's their captain too. So
you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Go see the city of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh I went there back in 2010, and that was a beautiful city to go see a baseball game. I saw the Mets obviously against the Pirates. It was like looking at a painting. I suggest going to go see it. And you can even say, wow, they filmed The Dark Knight Rises here. But I'm looking forward to eventually going to go see a game in Pittsburgh. And go get some Primanti Brothers. Burgers with coleslaw and fries on there. Who'd have thought that works?
Yeah, I always wanted Backlund on the Rangers years ago. And he's just a solid player.
Yeah, he is.
Real solid player that just like a Swiss Army knife. It's really probably best served as a third line center, but God forbid you ever ran into an issue where you have your second line center is injured. He can move up and not look out of place there. So just a good player. But man,
was there a player that you watched that you were just like, I love this player, but I wouldn't want him on my team?
Wouldn't want him on the team?
Yeah. Okay. Now what's going on with the balloons?
Yeah. Why did you get balloons there?
I get balloons for
Happy birthday, Mark.
Yeah. I guess because I was holding my head like this, but I don't get it. A player that you like, but you're like, keep him away from my team. I don't think I'd want him on there.
There is, I can think of players where they didn't really play much defense, but they were extremely talented offensively.
Like I think one guy that comes to mind is Phil Housley. Great player, but I just didn't think he played any defense.
I wanted Phil. I would always use Phil Housley in the 90s NHL games, like in the early 90 games, like 94 and 95. So I did like Housley.
Well, first off, by the way, I highlighted it again, but I didn't want Glenn Anderson when he was on the Rangers. So.
Yeah, I didn't like that trade at all. You'll see that in my what ifs video. I talk about that a little bit.
I hated that deal, and I wore 22 when I played juniors. Because my Gardner was always one of my favorites.
It's funny. I didn't want Jaromir Jagr at first because I disliked him for a long time, and then the way that things went down with him and Lemieux in Pittsburgh when Lemieux came back, I didn't like that, but I grew to love him. Funny enough, and I actually love him even more after his Ranger time.
Well, also, I can't help it. That was also the time where it seemed like the Rangers were just buying everybody and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
That was another thing that kind of hurt with that. Anthony, I'm sorry to read this for you because it's going to curse you, but who will the Bills be playing in the Super Bowl, according to Dave?
I said in the chat, just based on the first 2 games, the Eagles looked like they were very, very good.
Green Bay out of the NFC.
Anthony, I hate to break the news to you, but the Bills are going to lose to Kansas City on a 4th and 1. That's going to look a little bit questionable. We all know this.
The Chiefs listen, the Chiefs are 0-2 right now, and I know it's early, but
they're going to beat the Giants this week. Don't worry about that. They are not. The Giants are not beating the Chiefs. I'll tell you that right now.
I hope they do, though.
McSorley did play for the Rangers, but he was not really there.
Jagr, I wasn't on HF yet. I didn't join HF. I started lurking HF in like 2005. Joined in 2006, but I was on Hockey Trade Rumors at that time, and that broke Hockey Trade Rumors. That trade absolutely broke that forum. That was a massive, massive trade. And I remember watching that game against Florida and Lindros assisting on Jagr's. No, it was Jagr assisting on Lindros. A goal, and then Jagr got his first point that way. It was against Florida.
Yeah. I remember when the Rangers traded for Pavel Bore, I was so pissed. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that was so that run with Bure and Lindros was so much fun to watch. And if Mike Richter didn't get that Chris Tamer slap shot,
I remember that
off the side of his helmet.
Yeah,
the Rangers probably make the playoffs over Montreal. And because Montreal misses the playoffs, I think Patrick Waugh probably wins the Vezina. Jose Tador doesn't win it. And then Jerome McGinley might end up winning MVP that year. He might be the first player in modern era to win it on a losing team that didn't make the playoffs. So that would have changed things up a lot. But Bure, Lindros, and Raczynski, what a line that was down the stretch. Holy shit, were they fun to watch. Bure
actually was more fun than the fly line.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because they were big for a little bit.
Because that Bure was just on fire. He was there was a rocket ship up his ass because of the way he was scoring goals.
Yeah.
Like he found different ways to score in different games. It was just like, if you were a wrestling fan, like before Randy Orton found different ways to hit the RKO, it was Diamond Dallas Page finding different ways to hit the Diamond Cutter every week on Nitro. Every night was a different way for Bure to score a goal. He was going to score a face-off, or he was going to slap shot on the power play, or he was going to fly down the wing and score, or it was a crazy bat. He batted one out of the air against Toronto. Yeah, healthy Bure and Jagr would have, oh my God. See, and that's another thing. This was not on my what-ifs list for the Rangers, but what if the Rangers had actually pulled off the Jagr trade in the summer of 2001? Glenn Sather hadn't fallen asleep at the wheel. Or he claims he didn't, but he claims that Craig Patrick wanted Lundmark and everyone else. He wanted everything. He wanted them to. His words were that he wasn't willing to gut his team for any player. That's what his words were. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but he claimed Pat. I mean, I could kind of see it. Patrick did not have the greatest relationship with the Rangers.
No.
I know that for sure, but I do think this is a he said, she said, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
And Mark, I got a blind ranking cooking for you, by the way. Just
here we go. Here we go.
And Anthony's gonna troll me.
Well, here it comes.
The same questions the last few weeks about what you're thinking and what could be coming. How do you feel about it all?
I feel good.
Sorry.
Some year. My body feels good.
Gotta say, for this afternoon planning the show, I was like, what the hell are we gonna talk about? And now here we are, 2 hours and 45 minutes in and still going.
I'm not focused on it. It's playing is
that's why you guys have
Oh
it.
man, this McDavid rhetoric is getting worse.
This what?
This McDavid rhetoric is getting worse. They asked him about the contract. He's like, I'm not focused on that. I'm just focused on playing. My body feels good. He's taking his time with it. Still intends to do that.
It's not something I take lightly or my family takes lightly.
I think McDavid needs to. I don't want to use the term tread lightly because I think anybody in Edmonton that thinks
no, it's not him that needs to tread lightly. It's the organization that needs to tread lightly.
Right. Because I think everybody is in his camp. I don't think he wants to leave. I think if Edmonton.
All right, you know what? Before we do anything with the I want to send this to you, Mark, because I think we should play this for everyone. So hold on.
Mm-hmm. And if it's copyrighted, we're only going to be able to get like a couple.
No, it's not copyrighted. It's from a random Twitter account.
Okay.
That's the link to it in the private chat.
Okay, it's in the private chat. All right.
Yeah.
And
just to go with Jágr, and that one again, like, so they would have dealt Hlavich if the Rangers deal, the one that they wanted went through, would have been Hlavich, Brendel, Janssen, and the third round pick would have went to Pittsburgh. So you would have had Nedved, Dvorak, and Jágr as the checkmates version 2.0. And that probably could have gotten you into the playoffs because Lindros, although he had a point-per-game season his first year in New York, the Mark Smith concussion in December in San Jose definitely derailed him a little bit.
Yeah, he changed a lot. That's actually the better question about Lindros in his career. Was specifically with the Rangers.
A very slight one, but it still knocked him. It still scared him a bit. There was
right. If both players were healthy, who would have been more productive was actually a good question. And we're just going to play this soundbite, and I think you might be ready for that blind ranking, but let's just play this soundbite real quick.
How are you feeling, Carter, just about everything? I mean, obviously, it's been the same questions the last few weeks about what you're thinking and what could be coming. How do you feel about it all?
I feel good. I feel focused on the year. My body feels good. I'm excited to get going, excited to get camp going and getting into the routine of things. And as far as all that other stuff goes, I'm not focused on it. It's playing is the easy part. So we're getting to the easy part here.
Business before pleasure. Like, has anything changed? Should we be prepared for a signing in the near future or anything?
Nothing's changed as of now. As I said all along, I've said since June, I'm going to take my time with it, and I still intend to do that. And it's a big decision. It's not something I take lightly or my family takes lightly. Everything in my life's been building to be here and be in this position and be in this moment, and it's not something that I'm just going to dream up and decide, I'm going to think it over, and we have been, and we'll continue to do so.
I admit I'm surprised. Like, I thought we'd get here and there would be something. Should I be surprised? Like, am I wrong? Or is anybody who's surprised wrong to be surprised?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody's entitled to think whatever they want. I think people just kind of assumed that things were going to happen, and it just goes to show that not everybody knows exactly what's going on. My wife and I obviously love being here in Edmonton, and we have every intention, as I said, to win here in Edmonton, and have all the faith in the world in this 25-26 season. And beyond that, still remains to be seen. We have time. We have all it's our decision, basically. We've earned that. And we're going to take our time with it.
I guess the last one for me on this, Connor, is just what do you want to see? Like, when I'm sure you've told the Oilers, this is important to me. This is what gets me to commit for however long I decide to commit. What is that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Truthfully, what do I need to see? I guess the answer is nothing. All the pieces are here for 25-26. It's going to be a feeling. It's going to be when the time's right, the moment's right. I think it'll just be a feeling. But as of right now, just excited to get the season going, really.
I do not envy the questions he's going to be getting. I mean, even the Prime Minister has weighed in on this. That he said that, it's an uneasy time in Canada. McDavid's still not signed. It produced a little bit of a laugh, but it's also true. Like McDavid, the thought of Gretzky 2.0, although you could argue that for Messier. I mean, I don't envy that. Anybody have any thoughts on that, or do we just want to go on to the blind ranking?
We've got one from your wife. So Maria's asking, do you think this talk about him not negotiating a new contract prior to the season will affect his play?
That's a great question from a very smart, wise, beautiful woman. You know what? I don't know, guys. He already thinks last year was a down year for him.
I mean, I don't think it will. I think these are athletes. I think when they're out there, they're focused on one thing. I mean, I gotta know everyone's different, but John Tavares' last year on the Islanders, he went the whole year without a contract. He scored 84 points in 82 games, So that was a very good year for him. So that clearly didn't affect him on the ice. So yeah, I don't think it will affect his play or anything. I mean, I think it will weigh on him a little bit, but not to the point where it's gonna affect how he performs, though. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's going to bounce back. I mean, he had 100 points flat, which was his worst in a full season since his first scoring title and MVP in 2017. Like, I think he's going to storm back with a vengeance. I think he's motivated to have an even bigger year now. I mean, I could see him scoring over 140 points, to be honest with you. He knows what's at stake. The biggest contract in the history of the NHL is at stake. I think he's going out there and putting, 100 points being a down season is wild.
Yeah. Now, by the way, I think you guys are alluding to this too. I think he's already got the money in the bank.
Oh, Mark, he got it out for you, buddy. I don't envy you right now.
No. Shit,
sounded like Tony Romo for a little bit there. How he said, "Oh, Mark, I don't know."
I thought you were going to say Rosselino over there, buddy.
But I mean, he's already got the money in the bank. I think he could relax on that. He's going to get the richest contract in NHL history.
I think he does either way, but I think let's just say he goes out and has like another 140, 150 point season. Like,
yeah. That's why it's like, but I think it's the exterior pressures that's going to get to him. And I think, but the weird thing is, I think there's going to be chance of like, please don't go. They're not going to be like because again, I think a lot of people still thought Tavares was going to stay before that season ended, right, Anthony? You would think
that was the feeling. I mean, me and Phil covered the draft that year, and everything we were hearing, it seemed like he was close to signing an extension, and then, like we talked about, at some point when it gets close to being a free agent, something just turns and you're like, all right, well, I waited this long, and then you start to hear from other teams and it can change how you're feeling emotionally, and then changes on a dime. And that's the only danger with him starting the season without the contract. But
and then sometimes
I got your list here ready for your
all right. Oh, and by the way, Anthony, just to conclude what you're saying, very rarely do you get the Brock Besser that goes all the way to free agency and goes, yeah, I'll stay.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, let's start your troll job.
All right. So everyone on this list is a defenseman. Just throwing it out there. All right. Number 1, Marcus Ragnarsson.
All right. What am I grading on?
Just
quality defenseman?
Yeah.
I liked Marcus Ragnarsson. He was a stay-at-home defenseman.
Good, good for the Sharks. Yeah.
See, the thing is, now it's a 10-person list. So you got to figure Anthony's going to throw in some stinkers. So I think I could put Marcus Ragnarsson at 6. What do you think, Phil?
I'm going to go 5.
All right.
5. You want up to you there. Dennis Vasky.
I'm going 10.
9.
9.
I
remember Vasky. He's just one of those stay-at-home guys. I remember he got buried head first into the boards in a game against Boston, bleeding from the head. I don't know, something I just remember. It's funny.
To quote about it, it's like you just mentioned Dennis Vasky, and I'm like, I got no problem with him.
Yeah,
I didn't like him.
I got no problem with him. I think the guys that you're going to have probably that are worse or like right around the same area. So I don't think
Anthony's going to throw out some
ass unless he pulls like a Dale Purinton on us. Like I don't. Yeah.
Jamie Rivers.
I'm going to go 8.
I forgot who Jamie Rivers is.
I know who Jamie Rivers is. He played in St. Louis, I think Detroit.
He was an Islander for 1 year, and that was in 2000.
Ottawa.
I don't think he played for the Rangers.
No,
it was Jamie Pusher that I was thinking of.
Jamie Pusher played for the Rangers. I know that.
St. Louis.
You know what?
Yeah, Islanders, Detroit, Ottawa, Boston, Phoenix, and then St. Louis again.
I'll leave it at 8. I think there's going to be somebody worse than him.
You both have him at 8. Look at that. Trent Yawney.
Okay.
That he played a while in the NHL. He was there for a while, and he wasn't like bad, but he wasn't like he played 593 games. I was about to say I remember him with Chicago in the earlier 90s. He was decent.
I always remembered him with Calgary.
I'll go 7 for Yanni.
He played 593 games, so I'm going to go 7 for Yanni too.
Doug Crossman.
1.
I was thinking of saying the same thing, funny enough, because I don't know if we're going to get a better one than that.
Well, the other part is the versatility of Doug Crossman.
Crossman
to be on Anthony's puck Doku every single time.
Like he was on the 87 Canada Cup team. Like, you got to remember, like, he was one of the better defensemen around that time to be able to make that team.
He did have he got a 50-point season, a 59-point season. I mean,
one. I'm going one. I honestly, I don't think we're getting much better than that.
I did it as a little bit of a joke, but again, what's more fascinating to me is that he was the guy that got the New York Islanders of Ray Ferraro. Wow.
Ryan O'Byrne.
I have 9 open, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm throwing him there.
I'm trying to remember Ryan O'Byrne.
I mean, he's.
I'll throw him at 10.
Todd Reardon.
6.
What's the lowest I have open, Anth? 6?
6. Mark, you don't have 6 available. You have Ragnarsson at 6.
Oh, okay. Then Todd Reardon's got to be at 5.
I'm going to have to throw Reardon at 6. I have a feeling there's something worse coming, but I don't know how much worse it could actually be.
Radek Martinek.
All right. Anthony threw a good one out there. Radek Martinek, who I believe his first NHL goal was an overtime game winner for the Islanders. This is a good one. I actually kind of leaning towards. See, I wish I had Marcus Ragnarsson behind him, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
what's the lowest I got open? 5?
4.
I'm going to 4.
That's the lowest I have open too. Is
Yes.
4, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 4 for Martinek as well.
His numbers aren't as good as what I remembered him playing, but he was a plus 15 one year.
He was just a like Ragnarsson. He was just a serviceable defenseman for them.
Yeah.
So
Ragnarsson was a serviceable stay-at-home defenseman, so he was a guy.
Ragnarsson had 39 points as a rookie. And I thought he was going to end up scoring more than that throughout his career, but he just never did. Ragnarsson was like a Walmart. No, I don't want to say a Walmart. I want to say he was like Matthias Nordstrom light. Like, he was real good in his own end. Wasn't as good as Nordstrom was, but he would give you maybe 25, 30 points and just solid defensive play.
Matthias Nordstrom, the guy that Neil Smith regrets.
Yes.
Anthony?
Gord Dineen.
Now, remember him from 90 NHL
Florida Panthers.
NHL PA 93, I think it was.
I think he was with the Flyers and then the Panthers.
You're thinking of Gord Murphy, I think. You're thinking.
Yeah, you're thinking of Gord Murphy. Gord Dineen was with the Islanders in the late 80s.
Penguins.
The Penguins.
Oh, he was. Oh, he didn't win the cup with the Penguins. No. And then he went to Ottawa. Oh, okay. I guess I have to put him at 3 then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put him at 3 because, after all, he is. He is in the hockey family of the Dineens.
Yeah,
Kevin Dineen, who was probably the best one, I think.
Yeah, Kevin was a former 50-goal scorer.
Yeah,
I believe.
Lastly, Teppo Numminen.
Oh wow, that would have been my number 1. But yeah,
he would have been number 1, but I'm comfortable to say he's my 2.
Yeah, at least I don't look like too much on ass for that.
No, you don't.
I can't believe Anthony didn't replace him at the last second to completely screw us. But
No.
Teppo Numminen, who was still good with the Buffalo Sabres at the end of his career, but a long-time Winnipeg Jet.
He might be one of the most underrated defensemen of all time, Teppo Numminen.
Yes. By the way, and Arizona Coyote.
Wow, he was really good in the 90s. I would say he was one of the better defenders of the 90s. Maybe if you did like a top list of the 90s defensemen, he's probably somewhere within the top 50, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I should message my friend Pete and be like, we've talked about the former Hartford Whaler players a lot because we just mentioned Ray in the last 5 minutes, Ray Ferraro, Doug Crossman, and Kevin Dineen.
Kevin Dineen had a 40-goal season with Hartford. He did not have a 50. I was wrong on that. He actually had two 40-goal seasons in Hartford.
Pat Verbeek, I don't think, had a 50-goal season.
Pat Verbeek never had a 50-goal season. He was for a while. He was like a 40-plus guy.
Mm.
That CBS line in the early 90s, though, man, they killed the Rangers.
He almost became the oldest player to score his first 50-goal season. And I think that ended up going to Joe Sakic, right?
No, I don't think Sakic is the oldest to score 50.
No, but his first 50-goal season. Obviously, Ovechkin's the oldest, I think.
I don't know. Sakic had his first 50-goal season in 1996.
Oh, okay. Then I'm stupid.
Yeah, that I was about to say, because that he was third in league scoring, I think, that year behind Lemieux and Yager, and that was his first 50-goal year. Yeah, 51 goals in 96 as a 26-year-old. So, yeah, that's definitely not the case. He had 54 as a 31-year-old, but that was not his first 50-goal season. First 50-goal season. Kreider?
Could have been. I don't know.
First 50. Okay, so first 50. Kreider was 30 when he had his first 50-goal season.
Marcus Mariota.
Hold on. Vickers? No, Hadfield. Sorry. I'm thinking Hadfield.
Mm. By the way, guys, we'll go for another 5 more minutes.
Hadfield was 31 when he had his first 50-goal season in 71-72 with the gag line.
Face the thing. I got the thing that should not be stuck in my head. Face the thing that should not be. I was actually surprised when that made it onto their Guitar Hero.
I'm not surprised by that. Oh.
We got.
Oh, no, never mind. Hold on. That's just oldest. Okay, so Ovechkin's the oldest at 36 years old. Johnny Busick was the oldest before him at 35, but was that Busic's? No, Busick had multiple 50-goal seasons. He had to have.
And Brian, anytime we can fuse Metallica into anything is always a good thing.
Oh, no. Busick is the oldest. 35 years old to have his. I think Messier. No, Messier would have been 34. I think at that point. No, he would. Yeah, it would. Hold on.
Thanks, Huck.
Messier. Hold on. What do they consider that year? No, So he would have. It would have been considered his age 35 year had not Messier missed the 8 games that year.
Yeah, I think with back spasms, right?
Yeah, 47 goals, 99 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We could definitely anytime we could do that. Yeah.
And I'm always good to have this one. Oh, the good old hockey game. It's best game you can name.
Tom Connors.
Which, by the way, I actually had one that was ready to go about us doing this. About us.
By the way, there was some things, some clips or some bites from Mike Sullivan that I can read off.
Okay.
And Chris Drury. So Chris Drury is not going to get into negotiations with Artemi Panarin publicly. He also said that Braden Schneider won't play in the intra-squad games in the next few days. But he's able to give and receive contact, and is expected to play in 2 of the final 3 preseason games as they're taking it slow as he comes back from labrum surgery. And as for Mike Sullivan, as far as Mika concerned, I would envision Mika starting in the season in the top 6 on the wing. Says that he sees Mika Zibanejad starting on right wing on JT Miller's line. Sounds like both players told him that's their preference. Let's see here. Drury also says, to me, the expectation for the team has not changed. I am not highlighting that comment just because I'm not disrespecting Larry like that.
One question I didn't get to pose yesterday, and I'll do this right now, shortly before we're going to sign off. You wonder what Mika Zibanejad's concentration level is going to be. Now that Kreider's gone,
I think JT Miller is going to lock him down. I think what we saw from last year is towards when we started playing with JT Miller is really kind of what you're going to get from him. I think he's kind of been preparing for Chris Kreider to be leaving for some time. I think when he grabbed that puck, I think that was when everyone knew.
Yeah,
I think that's when everyone knew, and I think this is something he's been prepared for a while. So, Mike Sullivan also says you may see Lafreniere on both sides. Sullivan said that if they keep Zibanejad at right wing and load the top 6, he's envisioning a defensively conscious third line that creates an identity for taking on tough assignments. As for the third line center, there will be opportunities for a lot of players to see if they could fill those roles for us. I'd envision that Parsonen, he calls him Pars, will be given a significant opportunity.
You hear that, Evan?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Okay, Team USA and their coaching staff for the 26 Olympics.
Yeah, I did go by that, and Johnny Lazarus said Adam Fox will be playing for this team. When you have Mike Sullivan, David Quinn, John Hines, and John Tortorella.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to the head coach and one of the assistants are both Rangers coaches. Yeah. Yeah. This team disgusts me. They just said Parson is going to get a significant opportunity, which I imagine he's under NHL contract. I hope Laba beats him out. That's all I'm going to say.
Look, everybody, as much as we can romanticize about former teams and you're like, this team was this team was this, can we stop with the 2015 Rangers bus photo? It's just, it's also 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't. I think if anything, you're looking at a team that there should be opportunities for. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And all right. Hey, everybody, we're going to sign off right here. Actually, we'll start the music. We'll give it a couple, just like a minute or two, just in case if anything happens.
Mark just wants to hear the song.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to pay tribute to my cousin Phil, who was right there. And always good having him on there, but it's also a good way to say bye-bye. We covered a lot today.
We did.
Yeah. Which was great. Oh, Joe Pesci for a fall movie with honors, one of those 80s classics. It was actually, I believe, 94 was that movie. I think that came out after, because I think that was one of those that I think it was around sophomore year that I think my first girlfriend wanted to go see that years ago. But I have to check that. So yeah, 10 years just flies by like a blink of an eye, doesn't it? Yeah. Why always take a minute and just smile and enjoy everything? Like, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let's see if that locker room changes with Sullivan around. And no, not doing Backstreet Boys. And secondly, it would be copyrighted. So it's always good to use this one. I still can't get, it can't ban this one. I don't understand it, but still. All right. Guys, everybody, thank you very much for joining us this week on Big Apple Hockey. And we thoroughly enjoyed having you guys on, and looking forward to next week where we can start talking about games and players, seeing how they did.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So everybody, take it easy. Phil, last word.
Either Sunday.
All right. Or the thing that should not be.